Support for the Manwhore podcast comes from Sex.com, a new raunchy comedy starring Daryl C. Scott, Gavin Layton, and Erica Jenkins. Sex.com is available to buy or rent September 26th on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon. The Manwhore podcast is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Get a 100% deposit bonus for all your online gambling with promo code MANWHORE at MyBookie.ag. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Manwhore podcast.
Shout out to all those sex cults practicing ritualistic orgy sacrifices. Sounds pretty fun. How do I get an invite? This is Billy Procida, and you are listening to the Manwhore podcast. What is up, everyone? How you doing? Welcome to the show. If you are new to my program, I'll tell you up top, this is not a typical Manwhore podcast. And I'm going to tell you why in a bit. But first, show dates, people. Show dates. Okay. September 26th, I am at Soda Bar in Brooklyn at 8:30. Then Ithaca, New York. What's up? September 28th, I'm going to be at the Barber Shop, which is allegedly a venue in your city. That's part of the Finger Lakes Comedy Festival, so I'd love to see some fan whores turn out for that. And then, of course, October 8th, we have Manwhore Podcast Live. Oh, wow, is that going to be fun. We are doing a live Manwhore Podcast show at the People's Improv Theater on October 8th. You can get your tickets to that at manwhorepod.com/live. Tickets are just $15. That comes with a complimentary glass of wine from our sponsors at Wink. Going to have 4 of my exes on stage at the same time in a beautiful showing of emotional masochism. Just really going to slit the emotional wrists for everyone. It's going to be fun for you, I'm sure. Again, tickets for the live show October 8th in New York City, manwhorepod.com/live. Tickets for ManwhoreCon are, of course, still available at manwhorepod.com/tickets. It's going to be a really fun time to hang out and meet your fellow fan whores and, of course, yours truly. I want to start off with some of your words instead of mine. Got some reactions already from episode 179, last week's episode with Amanda. You know, it was definitely a heavier episode than usual. Got some reactions. The first one comes from, we're going to call her D from abroad. Okay, D writes, Billy, I'm sure you've gotten tons of angry messages about the intro and your comment about how women should always report sexual assault. Side note, everyone, I did not say that all women should report sexual assault in that particular intro. Okay, she continues. It's really hard to be brief and clear and concise on this, but basically reporting sexual assault is a decision, like many others, that is preceded by a subjective cost-benefit analysis. A rape can ruin your life, or it may not. Reporting a rape can also ruin your life. And when the rape has already occurred and the damage has been done, a rational person may decide not to roll the dice and take another huge risk on their ability to survive the experience relatively unscathed. I've been sexually assaulted numerous times, sometimes in cases where proving it would be impossible, others where my memory is unclear, another where it would have been easy to prove, but I was so traumatized at the time that it didn't even occur to me to report it until so much later that I no longer saw the point and questioned since... sorry, these are kind of run-on sentences, everyone. And questioned since I had gotten away, arguably nothing had really happened in the first place, and in many others I would risk implicating other people engaged in crimes like drug taking, consensual underage sex, etc., by drawing attention to the night in question. Sexual assault is awful, but I have successfully lived a happy, fulfilled life despite it. Reporting my sexual assaults would actually have had a far more negative impact on my life than the assaults themselves. I would have lost friends, had my sex life made public and scrutinized, lost privacy, traumatized my family, compromised my own freedom to live my life without overbearing parental supervision. I would have had my culpability in my own attacks and the innocence or guilt of the accused discussed If they were found not guilty, many would take this as proof of their innocence, and I would be vilified. The last two would have been almost and possibly completely unbearable, particularly aged 15 when my first assault occurred, during a time when people were not nearly as woke as they are now, and when I had not yet grown up into a sexually confident adult with a plethora of sexual experiences, good and bad, to balance out and contextualize the violent ones. Morality is a complex thing, and usually people are held more accountable for actions than inaction. But many inactions can have quite serious consequences. Women are often considered morally compelled to report rape to make it less likely that the offender will reoffend. Through their inaction, it is in many cases more likely that they will reoffend. But we also tend to impose a limit on the amount of hardship we expect a person to suffer, so to prevent hardship befalling another. This equation seems to become bizarrely skewed in many people's minds when it comes to rape. Rape and sexual assault are not the worst things that can possibly happen to you. Often you can survive them. Personally, the idea of having someone on a podcast hear about my sexual assault after I had reported it and discuss whether or not it had happened and the burden of proof they required to believe me, or worse still, my friends and family doing that, is more painful than any sexual assault has ever been. When the costs of reporting sexual assault exceed the harm of sexual assault itself, not reporting is often the most rational, reasonable choice for someone who is trying to do damage control on their own life. Rape victims do not have the moral duty to martyr themselves just to satisfy bystanders' craving for justice, accountability, and due process. If they decide that they are strong enough or altruistic enough to sacrifice themselves to all that for the greater good, good on them. But the idea that their victimization should be followed by condemnation for looking after themselves as best they can is incredibly unfair. Thank you, Dee, for sharing that. I want to clarify again. In that particular intro last week, I did not say whether or not women should be obligated to report their sexual assaults. I was simply commenting on the system that's in place. And the system currently in place for a crime that is very difficult to prove causes reactions like this. It causes people to be weary of following through or trying to seek justice. Because in order to prove that it happened beyond just the words of the accuser can, be traumatizing, especially when we live in a society that automatically looks for a reason to not believe a woman or elect her president. Because her emails, Billy, she deleted some emails. But thank you, Dee, for that perspective. This one does not have to do with the intro part as much as the battle between Amanda's two sort of boyfriends, right? If we remember, there's Chicago Boy, and then there's Johnny. There was Johnny. And I personally thought people were going to be rooting for Chicago Boy because I thought, and I still do, I think she likes Chicago Boy more than she likes Johnny. She barely wants to bang Johnny anymore. And, she seemed to be able to cheat on him quite easily. Chicago Boy is the one she defends, but someone on our Manwhore podcast subreddit seemed to disagree. Bahamut Prime writes, definitely was not cheering for Chicago Boy. Johnny is the guy that she moved for because she thought they'd marry. So obviously there was something there. He's supported through all her moves, career opportunities, and her cheating on him. Chicago Boy just sounds like the hot fling that makes sense because they're in the same field of work. So if you agree or disagree with username Bahamut Prime, head on over to our Manwhore podcast subreddit, engage in a discussion on the episode's comment thread. That's r/Manwhore podcast. Also had a response to episode 176. This one's a little bit delayed. Didn't really have a place to put this in the last few intros, but this was about Amy, and who's the Christian, remember? So she was writing to me about how Amy could potentially be fired if someone heard her podcast episode and recognized her. And I argued that I don't think anyone in her ministry I don't think anyone who would fire her for being on the podcast would be listening to my podcast. That's the thing I tell a lot of the guests when they come on, they're worried about anonymity. I go like, look, in theory, sure. But if they're listening to my podcast, they're probably not in the business of outing people. If they're listening to my podcast and they recognize you because this is a sex podcast, a sex positive sex podcast, I think they go, oh shit, that's Amy? I'll keep that secret because that wouldn't be cool to out her. At least that's what I like to think about my listeners. I like to think that all of you would honor someone's anonymity over trying to out someone for their sexuality, just because you have a grudge. So, anyways, Janice said that I would be surprised who might be listening to my podcast, and she continues, not that many people save themselves for marriage anymore, but unfortunately, my generation, I'm in my mid-40s, we're raised with the mindset that it's wrong, so you certainly shouldn't talk about it. Having been involved in multiple Christian ministries in West Texas and the Dallas area, I don't know of any ministry that wouldn't fire her because, quote, it would look bad on their organization and not reflect their values, which really pisses me off. The church needs people who are authentic and real about their sexuality, like Amy, instead of perpetuating the shame game. All of my friends have felt cheated because of the lack of openness when we were growing up to help us understand our own sexualities. And so many of us have talked about how it really fucked us up from having a fulfilling sex life for many years into our marriages. I actually started listening to sex-related podcasts just to help me figure out how to approach teaching sexuality as a healthy, positive gift to my 11 and 13-year-old daughters, so they can embrace sex instead of having a fucked up mindset about it. You and others have really helped me to shape my thoughts and approaches with both of them, and I'm just praying I don't screw them up. My husband and I are celebrating our 20-year anniversary next month, but about the first 15 years was on the scale of between okay and sucked. We've opened ourselves up to a lot of freedoms, embraced your saying of try everything once, twice if you like it, and our sex life rocks now. Sorry to chat your ear off, just a long way to say that you definitely are reaching out to people who you would never dream of having a connection with, but you have positively changed my sex life for the better by pushing my own comfort boundaries and opening my mind. So I thank you, but I guarantee my husband thanks you even more. Well, thank you, Janice, for writing in. Very much appreciate that. That's definitely a good thing to think about. And I too hope that more Christians would, open up their minds. Even if you want to improve your sex lives within your monogamous heterosexual marriages, I hope you would at least start opening your minds past what you were probably taught in school or not taught in school. But one little caveat, because there is one listener out in Arkansas who comes up kind of often on the show. He said he is sex positive when it comes to sex between two people in a monogamous heterosexual marriage. And I'm like, that's not sex positive. You don't get to pick and choose who gets to do what with whom and then say you're sex positive. You just think people in heterosexual monogamous marriages should have better sex and that's the type of sex everyone else should have. Sex positive means you think that should happen, but also like whatever else other people want to do, they can do that too. Being sex positive really embraces the you do you boo-boo mentality. It's not the you do what I say boo-boo, otherwise you're going to hell. And if there is a hell, I'm telling y'all, it's going to be the best sex party around. So before you go thinking about not sitting, commit a couple cents, steal a candy bar just to ensure a ticket into the fun party. I'm telling you. They don't have air conditioning, but you'll get over it. Before we get to this week's episode with my friend Roxanne and the several suitors I'm going to explain in a few moments, I just want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor this week, a new independent film. It's a comedy. It's a sex comedy. It's called Sex.com. And I just want to give them an extra shout out on top of the ad you'll hear later, because I have a warm spot in my heart for independent art. And, it's an indie film, is a comedy, is a raunchy sex comedy. It's the type of comedy you can laugh at and also like pause to jerk off during, because I watched the Red Band trailer so far and I laughed. And I was also aroused because there was some like serious nudity going on. And so I think you all should check it out. You can buy or rent it on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon. And if you want to learn more about the movie, you can visit their website, sex.comthemovie.com. So it's sex, D-O-T-C-O-M, themovie.com. But yeah, go check that out. I'm going to watch it this week. Speaking of independent art projects, this whole podcast loosely falls under the umbrella of art, right? And a great way to support the art that you consume for free is to actually throw it a couple shekels here and there. And that's why I have a Patreon page, which has supported me through really a lot. I have quit my day job in part because there is a Patreon page that over 100 fan whores loyally support month in, month out. And membership to our fan whore community begins at as little as $1 per month. That's it. And it's not even billed all at once where they say like, oh, you know, for 25 cents a day, you can feed a child, but really they're, you know, billing you for the entire year of 25 cents per day, you know? No, $1 a month. You cancel or alter your pledge whenever you want, and you get access to so many awesome perks. For example, you get access to all sorts of bonus episodes of the Manwhore podcast. Right now, I want to play you a teaser of my bonus episode coming out tomorrow with goddess Lola Jean, who specializes in wrestling fetish sex work. We had Andre Shakti on the show several weeks ago, and she discussed doing wrestling porn. Well, now we're going to learn a little bit more about doing wrestling sex work and how you can bring wrestling fetish into your own personal sex life in a safe, responsible manner. So here's a little teaser with the goddess Lola Jean. Last night you taught a wrestling fetish class.
Yes. It was actually, I adapted it a bit over time, and I adapted it into a wrestling for lovers class. So something that's like very attainable and less of like trying to kill you and more just like things to use in the bedroom with your lover. Because that's actually the reason I created it was I started doing wrestling fetish. I started training in jujitsu. And as I learned jujitsu, I realized when I was like having sex with a lover, I like started using certain moves of like just, I mean, it kind of became instinct of like when anything goes between my legs, I'll squeeze it. So like I put someone in guard and I had my legs around their waist, or like if a head kind of comes close to like my crotch area in a certain way, there it goes.
Crush. Amazing. So how'd you get into that?
It's actually, I'm going to try to make it a succinct story, but it's an interesting one.
We got some time. Feel free to not make it too succinct.
Cool, yeah.
Take a couple minutes.
So it was kind of when I had started doing a bit of pro dom work, working in sex education, and I just like ended a career in advertising, and I was waitressing for a bit. So there was a bit of money troubles, and love Craigslist, love the Craigslist game.
Oh, same.
I suggest it to people, but it's also things to be wary of.
Don't people get so weird with you when you're like, yo, Craigslist is great, and they're like, ooh, but
you
murderers.
have to be really good at like judging people though, and figuring out what's a scam, what's not, what's safe with people. Because also too, even like I get a lot of my clients just email me, and like some of them I'm like, no, I'm not going to see you because this makes me uncomfortable, or like I don't think you're going to trust my boundaries, because it's still my session at the end of the day. But I found one, and it was for this guy who was creating a scissor hold website, which scissor hold is when you take your legs, and if it's a head scissors, you wrap it around their head and kind of just like squeeze, extend your legs. There's a whole technique to it. But that's like a really large niche fetish that hasn't been exploited. And basically it was like, hey, I'll pay you like $150, wear yoga pants, squeeze the shit out of my head. Your face isn't in it. We'll take a picture. It's like, sounds super easy. My thighs are really strong. Got good quads. Let's do this. And I ended up meeting the guy who was like starting the website just for coffee to talk about it. He's like a regular finance guy, and he was just creating this site to make money because he was trying to find a niche fetish that hasn't been exploited yet. Yeah, it was a very smart idea. And he introduced me to this wrestling fetish world and was telling me all about it. And I was so interested in like nerding out on everything. He was saying like it's a really low supply, high demand. Because think of how many strong women that are trained out there. And then of those, how many are willing to do this? And beyond that, it's like one of the most popular fetishes. I think it's like second to foot fetish. And even too, what I learned from once I started like seeing clients was that they're all like out of like working in a dungeon. Like the wrestling clients are always like the sweetest, most normal, most innocent. It had less of a like weird childhood connotation than other fetishes do. Like it was kind of all across the board, but just generally like just very.
How often does someone really be like, I want you to squeeze my head with your thighs and call me son? You know, no one's
Yeah.
No one's calling you mommy during wrestling
Not at all.
wrestling
And
work
plus,
sessions.
like, I mean, I'm super into sports and like fantasy football and all that. So like trash talk I've had a lot of experience with that.
Nice.
It's really good. So yeah, he got me curious about it. He never actually ended up making the website. We still like keep in contact a little bit about it. But I think when I ran into like money trouble again, he was telling me like, oh, like you should just throw your picture up on Session Girls and create like a profile. Like, who knows? People might just throw money at you. So I was like, okay. So I did that and I started getting bombarded with emails. And I'm messaging him like, what do I do? Do they really want me to like fight them? Like male and female strength is super different, blah, blah, blah. And he was saying like, I think they just want to feel the feeling of like feeling trapped. And because like fear and arousal and hunger are all base human emotions. So obviously we're not dealing with hunger here. So it's more like the fear and arousal and associating those together. So I decided I was going to get into it. But I was kind of a little hesitant again because like I'm strong as for a woman for sure, but I'm still very small. I'm like 5'3". I don't like weigh a ton. And there's people that are like 6'1" and like are just like super big guys, and male and female strength is very different.
And I feel like you got to go into that session if the guy's 6'1" and like 220
Yeah.
in order to sell the persona. You still have to walk on that map, be like, I got this, or at least be able to portray like, oh, I got this. But in your head, you're like, I don't fucking know if I got this.
Or just like, or knowing that I do and like, or shutting them up in the first move.
And if you want to have access to the full bonus episode with the goddess Lola Jean, head on over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That episode is available to all of my $5 and up fan whores. However, you can pledge as little or as much as you want. $1 is a perfectly fine pledge, and you will get access to bonus episodes because of it, plus much more. Even if you don't give me money, there's still all sorts of fun bonus Manwhore podcast content for you to consume in the coming days. This Sunday, September 24th, I am getting naked body painted on a live stream. The naked part of it is only available to $5 and up members of my Patreon community, which again, you can join at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. However, some of the clothed portions of it, the beginning of the body painting, we're going to stream on the Manwhore Podcast Facebook fan page. So if you don't like my fan page yet, which I know that most of you don't because I know what the numbers are, go over to Facebook, search for the Manwhore Podcast, or you can click a link in the show notes here and go click the like button. Turn on the notifications. That way you won't miss the live stream. And if you see me take my shirt off and you feel a little squirrely and be like, oh gosh darn it, I don't want this to end, I want to see the rest, you'll still be able to go ahead and make your pledge so that you can see us transfer over to the naked Patreon stream. Also on the Facebook fan page, next Wednesday, September 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be doing another Fan Whore Facebook Live Hangout. There's some news that y'all don't know right now. Some of you know if you follow me on social media, and the rest of you will find out like next week or whatever. But we're probably going to talk about it on this month's Facebook Live Hangout. So again, go like the fan page, put it in your iCal at 3 p.m. on the 27th Eastern Time to come join me. It's always a fun time chit-chatting with fellow listeners. You get to talk to me, you get to talk to each other. And now for this week's episode. Wow. So, okay. Again, if you're still here, I know this is a long intro. If you're new to the podcast, typically I talk to women I've hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out. This week's guest is not one of my former flames, nor is she a celebrity. She is not a sex educator. She is not a porn star. She is not a sex worker. She is not a stand-up comedian. She is just a friend of mine who is having a hard time getting laid. She's having difficulty getting, we'll just say she's having trouble getting good sex. Of course, she's a woman. She's a fairly attractive woman living in New York City. She can get sex if she wants to. She's having trouble getting good sex. So I pitched her this idea when she complained to me for the umpteenth time. I said, hey, what if I arranged like oral sex auditions? You know, like guys, they got to audition with you. They could only go down on you and finger you. And based on how good or bad they were at that, maybe you'll fuck them on a different night. Right? Wouldn't that be fun? Like no penises involved at all. Put the penis back in your pants, sir. You got to earn taking that out, right? Let's make these fellas earn it. And she loved the idea. When she told me this was like a nighttime conversation, and look, we've all agreed to a lot of weird stuff at nighttime. Some of those decisions cause us to wake up next to weird things in the morning. Okay, some of us have been like, I'm gonna, or just you go late at night and you start buying shit on Amazon that you forget about, and you're like, why do I all of a sudden have 3 blenders? Or maybe you've decided you're gonna take up basket weaving, and then you wake up, you're like, why why? No, I'm not. So I told her, I was like, look, you are tomorrow going to 100% take this back and be like, hey, Billy, I know that's fun and all, but like, I can't do that. I can't just let strangers eat me out and then go on a podcast and talk about it. But the next day I checked in with her. She's like, no, dude, I am in. So I was like, okay. I put together and I arranged 5 fellas, okay, to come by appointment to her place up in the Bronx. And the procedure was they would come in. And these guys were recruited from amongst my friend circle and on Reddit, okay? And the system was they would come in at their time. They would chit-chat with me for a little bit on mic, talk about, if they're nervous or not, talk about their views on oral sex. I think I asked all of them if they had like a special move or not, okay? Then they would go in. They had about 12-ish minutes to impress her. Some was 12, some was 15, is that range. They had 12 minutes to make a first impression. Not necessarily to make her come or anything. They had 12 minutes to make an impression. And then I'd come knock on the door and I'd take them out and we'd do a little post-game interview. I'd send them on their way and then I'd go into the bedroom and I would talk to Roxanne and ask her, okay, yo, tell me the deets. Like, how was it? Was it good? Was it bad? Did he do the thing where he curled his fingers or does he have no idea? Like... And we did that for all 5 guys. Then afterwards, Roxanne and I, talked again, did a full debrief. And this was so much fucking fun. Knowing that I was involved, I was sure that something was going to go wrong, but it really went off without like a hitch. I'm very excited to finally share it with you all. So first, I'm going to introduce you to my friend, Roxanne. Wine.
Thank God for it.
Yeah, so just bring this up to here, and let me hear you say some stuff.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, yeah, you know how to count.
I do.
Yeah.
I can't get past that.
Yeah.
Numbers aren't my thing.
Well, Roxanne, thanks for coming on to what is, one interesting podcast episode.
Yeah, you made this up on the fly, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very creative like that.
I like it.
Anytime I do like some sort of creative, like any sort of like Craigslist or Reddit or some sort of endeavor, if there's an opportunity to make a scene out of it, I just jump on the opportunity. I love scenes.
Okay.
I sometimes even if I'm not as much into the woman or if it's clear she wants to just hook up, I'll be like, well, can we make a scene? Because I can get into a scene without being into her.
Interesting.
Like if I don't like meeting up with someone just like, okay, we're going to meet and I'm going to go to your place. We're going to fuck. I either need to be into you, like your mind, or I need to be into the scenario. So it's like, if you're trying to get straight to the point, then like we need to add some bells and whistles to keep me interested.
You sound a little high maintenance.
A little bit. I don't know. Just been fucking for
For a
little
long time.
bit. And I just feel, not a long time. Just, I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff that's made the whole come over, put your cock in my pussy.
Yeah.
That bores me.
It's boring. It's
At
old.
this point. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought this would be interesting, and you have complained on more than one occasion about having a hard time getting some good dick.
Yeah, this is my problem being honest with you, Billy.
Yeah. Then I drag you onto a podcast. So,
Yes.
So do you want to explain what we're doing today?
No, I do not.
You're like, I do not. I want to drink more wine.
I really do.
So today we're going to hold oral auditions. I guess this makes me the casting director and maybe and they're reading with you, so to speak.
I guess.
Okay. So these fellas who I've recruited, they are going to come over one by one. And they're going to come down. They're going to chat with me for a little bit. Then I'm going to send them into your room. And they have about 10 or 15 minutes to audition.
This will be interesting.
And they are auditioning for the role of having sex with Roxanne. That is the role we are casting for. And so they've got 10, 15 minutes to make some sort of impression using tongues and fingers only.
Yes.
Dicks are staying in the pants.
Please.
This is a purely Roxanne-oriented encounter.
Okay.
And then, dudes who make a good impression, you can have your own set of callbacks that are off mic.
I'll get the number from you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious because for the most part, you go into a situation and it's going to lead to sex or whatever. Every single time, there's no possible chance the guy's dick is staying in his pants. It's never going to happen. Like, how often do you actually hear about like, oh yeah, man, I went over to her house, I ate her out, and oh, it was the best, and I left. Never. That never happens. You can easily hear like a girl go like, oh, I went over his house and like I wasn't totally in the mood, so I gave him a blowjob and then I left. This is almost feeling like a really strange Twilight Zone, like sexual role reversals. And I think that's my favorite part about this. As soon as you started talking about it, I was just like, this feels a little more powerful. Like, screw this. My turn, damn it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, why don't you tell the listeners why you're so frustrated in the first place?
Oh, okay.
Tell them what you've been telling me.
Yeah. Well, I've been single for a little over a year now, and I've been dating. I'm open-minded. I want to go meet people. I've also gone to bars and gotten a little tipsy and been like, you're cute enough. Let's go home.
Cute enough.
And a lot of these times I'll go on these dates, I'll meet these guys, and they'll like, as soon as we start talking a little bit about sex, they'll be like, oh man, I go down on girls for hours. Oh, I'm so good. I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. And then when it's showtime, kids, nothing happens. I have had them be like, oh, I'm so excited right now. I just want to get straight to it. Or they think I don't notice that I gave, my fair share of foreplay and then it went right to wham bam and he's done. Like, it gets a little like disheartening. You just all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, I just had another boring sex. I just had same thing happen again and again. And it gets old.
And what about the guys who they brag about their pussy eating prowess?
They spend like 2 seconds down there. I literally, oh God, the worst one. This guy just started jamming his whole face into my vagina.
Jamming? Just
like using his nose, like he was some like oversized cat.
His nose? What did he do?
He thought the nose was gonna...
Eskimo kisses with your vagina? What is...
Yes. I don't know what the hell. And it was just hurting. So when I was sitting there going like, oh, you need to stop that. I guess when he said he thought that I'd come somehow, he's like, yeah, you like that? I'm like, no, it hurt. And that, of course, hurt his feelings. And he was just like, oh, well, you weren't telling me anything. It's like when I start slapping the back of your head and pushing you away, that's part of the conversation. Or saying like, hey, could you ease back a little bit? That's not feeling so good.
And are you a vocal lover? Do you give feedback? Do you give direction? I mean, one of my earliest pieces of knowledge about hooking up with women, especially going down on women. This is before I even really knew what going down on women was like. This is long before I'd ever had my first kiss. Was in the movie Chasing Amy. The idiot character Banky. He's talking about how he doesn't like to go down on women anymore because they don't help you out. He's like, you got to be like one of those people at the airport with the orange things, like directing things. Just tell them when to go left, when to go right, when to stop, when to slow down.
Absolutely. And I will be very like astrological. I'm a Gemini and I can't ever shut up. So I love talking during sex. I love giving direction during every part of sex. And if I'm saying like, hey, slow down or go faster, circle your tongue, go up higher on my clit, please. Could you finger me a little bit while you do this? I mean, okay, I don't start sounding British while I'm having sex, but it's like, I'm happy to sit there and be like, hey, I really need this. But when you ignore that or even get insulted that I'm like telling you how to do this, it's frustrating. Right. Eventually it's just like, you just give like, and it's, I think, a very female mentality where you just go like, whatever. Yeah, I came, I'm done. Like, let's just get the rest of this over with. And you're like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm skipping this part because I don't want to be the one who causes a scene or becomes like the one who whines and ruined the mood. And it's just like, oh, but you were really like, you were talking all this game, like, oh, you want to go down on me for like 2 hours? You were slobbering around for 2 minutes and nothing.
And like, you got bored
and what, your tongue hurts? Like, I'm sorry. I've gotten practical lockjaw giving a guy a blowjob because he wouldn't frickin' come, but wouldn't let me stop until he did. And it's just like, so don't use your tongue the whole time. Nobody said your hands had to stay by my knees the whole time. Like, come on, like get into it. And it's like when they're not into it, you can tell. And I'm sure guys get that too. Like if a girl's really not interested in giving the blowjob.
So what are your hopes, your dreams, your wishes for today? Are you looking forward? Have you ever been on this side of the casting couch? Have you ever had such control in this scenario?
No, I do not normally have this much control of a scenario. I'm curious to see, because obviously you haven't shown me anyone. You haven't really told me anything.
Yeah, she's seen no pictures of the dudes. She's given me vague parameters, which I've still kind of broken.
Oh,
And,
great, thanks.
the only one outside your age range, I think, is someone who I want you to be open-minded, because I think the skill level will outdo what you think the age is. He's not 90.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Yeah, so you don't have information on the guys. And although I do want to share this one thing. I'm not going to tell you which one he is.
All right, fine.
But one of the things I asked so I posted, shout out to Random Acts of Muff Dive, one of the great subreddits, r/Random Acts of Muff Dive. It's a place that matches pussies with mouths. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I asked guys was explain why you would like to be cast for this role. And one guy wrote, I love sex. I have been labeled a, quote, sex god, no pressure, and recently broke up with my long-term girlfriend. I'm like, oh, we need to crush this fragile ego right now.
Sex god?
We either need to crush his sense of self, or we're gonna discover a deity. Who knows?
Oh, I'll let you know.
So after we're done, when we're like fully done, I want you to tell me who you think thought he was a sex god.
Oh God. Okay, that'll be interesting. All right.
The fact that someone referred to himself, before he even hit the picture, I was like, he called himself a sex god. Oh, we are having him on.
You either really need to have some good backup to say that you're a sex god there, or really think highly of yourself and not realize that women are faking it to get you out of their house.
And it's like, ladies, stop doing that.
Oh, I don't.
Stop
know.
faking. You just say stop or direct or something, but just don't fake it's an endless cycle of badness.
Stupid.
Even if you go like, look, I'm just going to fake it and then never see him again. Don't, because you're ruining it for the other women he's going to go down on.
Absolutely.
So on behalf of your gender, don't do that.
Don't fake it. And don't be afraid. Like, don't feel the thing. I think a lot of women, they feel shame telling a guy that they didn't come. Yeah. Because it's like, you don't want to bruise their poor, fragile little egos, but at the same time, like, no, you didn't
That's
come.
not your
like,
responsibility.
it's one-sided. Like, hey, I didn't come, and it's like I've actually been, at the end of the night, told somebody like, oh, I didn't come. They're like, oh, what's wrong with you?
Wait, what's wrong with you?
Oh yeah, what's wrong with me?
Now, that question and the question I'm going to say are both like a little problematic, but it's just like the better version of the bad question is, oh, what didn't I do? Or like if they think they didn't do a good job, I'm like, well, at least he's thinking that like you're not broken. But if they go like, what's wrong with you? Get the fuck out of my face.
And it makes me laugh. Like, I'm one of those very, very lucky women. I can orgasm both clitorally and from penetration, which is not always common. And I can come often. I can have multiples. I can give it to myself. So obviously I don't think my vagina is broken. Mm-hmm. I do think that somebody who slobbers for 2 seconds, doesn't do it at all, or, comes in 5 seconds and then wonders why I'm like, oh, hey, so are we going to finish this off with me? And you're tired. You're rolling over. Not going to work for me. Not happening. Mm-hmm. It's not okay. And I mean, I will admit, when I was younger, I did the faking it thing because I was so embarrassed. But I would say some, time has helped me go like, well, fuck that. I deserve it too.
Are you nervous at all for this?
Oh, of course I'm nervous. Yeah? This is insane. This is absolutely insanity, Billy. This is not exactly like, it's not that I'm very open-minded and I enjoy.
Well, you haven't had a first date where they come over and blindly eat your pussy for 10 minutes? No, that hasn't been.
Well, I mean, no. I've met them. They said they'll eat me out, and then they come back to my place and don't.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. Why would you say that it's something you want to do and then not do it?
Well, we will see what happens today. Do you have any predictions?
I have no clue.
Just looking forward to see what happens.
I have a feeling that it's like, I do predict at least one guy is going to get really nervous, have no clue what they're doing, and probably just want to walk away.
Do you have a game plan for when that happens?
I mean, I'm going to talk to them and, make sure.
Are you going to try, when guys come in, are you going to try to feign conversation or are you going to just get right into it?
I think I'm going to feel out the guy. Like, whoever Mr. Sex God is, I'm pretty sure he's not going to come walking in to have a chit chat. But
So I think a lot of these guys are probably, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know anyone's strategy. All I told them was that they have to come in. We are going. I should say we're practicing some safer sex practices.
Please.
Because we have several fellas coming in and out. So everyone's going to be using mouthwash before they go in and wearing latex gloves because again they're doing mouths and fingers only. So that is what we're doing for that. Also, in between partners, you'll be using the mouthwash. So just because when you have that much different mouths and saliva, it's just like that's it's a cleaner, it's a simpler.
I'm a cleaner
thing.
person. Yeah.
Well, just there are other things that one could do, but I just feel like this is the easiest. Like some guys were balking when I said latex gloves. They're like, that's too clinical. I'll be like, okay, well, if you had a vagina, which is like a fucking, look, you could throw off that pH balance quite easily with that many different hands. So it's just simpler with latex gloves.
And again, I haven't met you before. You are walking into my life and going straight to this.
I don't know if you were eating curry before this. Like, who knows? So,
oh my God, if you had like chicken wings, forget about it. I'd kill
you. So we are doing that. But yeah, I'll just be sending. All I've told them is like, you're doing that before you walk in. You're going to chat with me. You're going to head on in there and do your thing. They know that they're under a limit. So I hope you guys don't waste too much time talking if you talk at all. But what about kissing? Are you a fan of kissing?
I'm a big fan.
Are you hoping
kissing is important to me?
Okay. So you think this is going to start off with some kissing?
Yes.
And see where it goes from there.
See where it goes from there.
Okay.
And talking can happen. I can multitask.
Well, we are keeping our fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
And we will be So what we're going to do is we're going to check in with you after each individual guy.
Okay.
So I'll do their post game interview on the way out, or their exit poll if we want to be political about it.
Sure, why not?
Now I'm going to come in. We'll get a couple words from you about how that went, and then get on to the next guy.
All right.
Yeah.
This sounds like it's going to be interesting.
Get comfy. Don't get too drunk. Don't get sleepy by the last guy. But we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Awesome. All right. So Jim, hello, sir.
Hi there, Billy.
How are you?
I'm
So we are you excited? How you feeling?
I'm very happy. I'm very excited. This is a great opportunity.
It's great opportunity for my career. Just trying to get. I really want the role of fucking your friend. That's.
Oh, wait, am I actually getting? I thought it was all an oral sex situation.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we're doing oral sex auditions.
Oh, okay.
So ideally, if it goes really well and you both want to meet up again in the future, then we will facilitate that happening.
Oh, this is like a dating show. Yeah.
Maybe dating show with a little more cunnilingus,
Okay, yeah.
Just look, the ladies has had a hard time getting some good sex, right? She gets a lot of selfish dudes or dudes with like low sexual IQ.
I see.
And I kind of brought you in as a ringer.
I am semi-professional.
He's a semi-professional pussy eater, and I was like, the gal deserves to have at least one dude who I think will be good at this.
Yes, and I was wondering actually when I was coming over here whether it would be best if I was first or last. And obviously for me it'd be best if I was first because then I could actually set the tone. But if I came in last, then if she didn't have so much fun beforehand, I would at least be able to anchor it really nicely.
Yeah, you can back clean up,
Exactly,
so to speak.
Yeah. I'd make sure there's at least one run in the game. We don't want to be shut out altogether. So.
And so what do you like about eating pussy?
Well, first of all, it's really fun for me to actually make sure that the other person's having a great time, and I like the idea of accomplishment when you know that you're doing something that somebody you likes what you're doing. So I really like that a lot. Plus, there's a sensual connection just to the fact that you're in there doing the things that are there. It's a soft and wet and hoppy kind of place,
Do you have a signature move?
I have a couple of very specific tricks which other people tell me no one else they've had sex with has done, and I sleep with very promiscuous women, so I believe what they say. So I do have a couple of things that I could pull out should it become rough going after the first 5 minutes. Yeah.
So, like you say it just as if you're like a sports player, just be like, in football, if their defensive line is really strong, we have some ideas for alternative plays. Really try to keep them on their toes.
I don't want the defense to read what's going on. I want to make sure that they actually have no choices. Doesn't matter about however the way it's going. Well, my whole thing here is that I have a bunch of that's what it comes down to. Is it's all about your tongue, right? And so you want to be able to apply pressure at the exact specific place and measure and intensity as you want. And so what I do is I do a lot of moving it around a lot until I find where the body that I'm with actually likes it, and then I apply that sparingly and then quickly, and then I have this little flutter move that I'm told no one else
flutter
has.
is it called the flutter?
No, I don't have a name for it. It's just this thing
not
I do.
Trademarked?
I don't have a trademark.
You should
yet.
look into that.
I guess you can do that.
Got to be responsible.
There was a new Supreme Court justice ruling that says you can actually take dirty things and trademark them now, which you couldn't do before. So maybe it's possible with the new ruling.
Okay. And how would you rate your cunnilingus skills from 1 to 10 being fantastic?
I think I'm a 10. I really
think
think I'm
you're 10?
world class. I really do. I think if we had an Olympics, I would be able to. I don't know if I would get the gold, but I would definitely get the silver or the bronze.
You think you'd medal?
I do. I would medal. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that is a confidence.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Well,
I've been doing this for a long time. So I've been practicing a lot, and I really, really love what I do.
You sound like a comic who's been doing it like 20 years, hasn't really gotten the opportunities that maybe he deserved a lot earlier on, but everyone really respects him in the game, and he's like, I'm just really happy to have this opportunity, and we're gonna see what happens.
I want to be humble in my confidence. I don't want to sound like I'm cocky, because that would be more about my penis. And I don't want to talk about my penis today. That's a whole separate conversation and a different show.
Yeah, and isn't that interesting? Like being a dude who like genuinely feels like he's better than your average sex doer. Which is a weird noun I just said. But yeah, also, again, there's that stigma of like, if you go and be like, well, I'm really great at sex. Well, now we just want to laugh at you because you're probably not.
Exactly.
But sometimes like, what if I am? Like, what if I'm actually pretty good at this thing? I have Yelp reviews of my cunnilingus stories, Like I have positive reviews that I have on the internet.
I have had women at sex parties go to other women at sex parties and go, you really should have this guy at your pussy. He's really good at it. So I have that kind of Yelp review in the moment. Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to hear how the post game goes because man, would it be embarrassing if she didn't dig it.
But now here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have been with women where it has not worked out well, and I've realized that the real difference is whether or not they find me attractive.
Sure.
If the people I'm with don't find me attractive, my skills are meaningless because they're not really into it. It has to be something they're into. And so, of course, on a date, they've gotten to spend a few hours with me. They get to actually know me. Here, just meeting me and then seeing me, if I'm not her type, it will be a little more challenging.
Yeah. Are you going to go in and try to chit chat first, or are you going to try to get right to it? Because you only got about 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
So you want to make it count.
I can do what I got to do in 8. So I have about 7 minutes of chit-chat, getting her to like me time. But it will depend on her mood. Obviously, this is something she hasn't done before either.
Sure.
Because I don't know anyone else who ever has. So it's going to be something interesting for her to actually get over her nervousness of meeting new people like that.
And I also want to say you are of an age. You are 54.
I am. I don't look 54, but I am.
Doesn't look it, right? So I'm interested to see how this all plays out. Well, we will chat with you when you're done.
Okay.
And I wish you the best of luck,
All right,
sir.
thanks, Billy.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
I hope you get the role.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, fucking perfect. So good. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, it feels so good. Please don't stop. Oh, God, it feels so good. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, please. Oh, yes. 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 Oh, yes. Oh, God, yes, it feels so good. Oh.
Jim, how'd it go? I heard some things.
Yeah, that went really well.
Those
First
were
of all,
good.
she's a beautiful, beautiful girl. And all of her is amazing.
You're a little out of breath. You want to take?
It was just 20 seconds ago that we finished. You get right into the meat of it by coming right on.
You know
here.
it.
Yes,
you watch the NBA Finals. They get them like right after the buzzer goes.
It's true. They're just walking off the court and they have to say all those canned things about how the opposition was great and they played their hearts out and all that stuff.
Do you want to take a moment to thank God, thank your mother, thank your agent?
None of those people had anything to do with this. No, this is. I want to thank all the other women who tell me to do that and not that and this and not and that's really how I learned from all the other people. Go no, yes, and then you knew what to do. So
did you need to pull out any signature moves? Did you need to pull out any?
I didn't actually use my signature move.
No?
You have to get the clit a little more activated. It takes about 15, 20 minutes to get to the point where that actually is fun. Otherwise, it's just painful. So I did all these other things, and it worked pretty well.
Yeah, it sounded like it went great.
She was wondering how much you could hear. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We could hear.
That's good.
We could hear. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you have a sex-based podcast yourself, too,
I do,
right? So
yeah.
you want to tell them about that?
Sure. My name is Porno Jim on the radio and in other places where I perform as Porno Jim. And I have a show on cityworldradio.com. You can listen there on Thursdays, 11 p.m., or you can just tune in as a podcast on the cityworldradio.com archives.
Amazing. Jim, thanks for coming, and best. Hopefully, you'll get a call back.
Thanks, Billy. I hope so. I think she's brilliant. I'd love to see her again, and I hope that the rest of the people are equally as satisfying, so she has the best day ever.
Oh, God.
What are you reading a fucking book in between dudes?
Yes.
So okay, how was Jim?
Words escape me.
Some other types of sounds seem to have escaped you as well
Damn,
during
you
that.
could hear that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Do you have other words?
For a person who never seems to ever not have words, they're not happening right now. That was not what I was expecting. his confidence was awesome.
Yeah.
He was so cute and very, very good. Holy crap.
Yeah, he was very confident in his pregame. He's like very, very confident, right? And when you hear that, you're like, all right, buddy, can you back this up? And I think, is it safe to say he was able to back it up?
Oh, my God. 3 times.
3 times?
3 times.
High five. That's 3 times more than most of the dudes you hook up with.
Yeah.
Amazing. Would you want to see this dude again?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, definitely?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear we already got our first success.
Me too.
Awesome.
I feel a little bad for the next guys.
Now for a little commercial from my sponsor, IndieFilmSex.com. Out September 26th.
This motherfucker is dead!
Full of humor and stimulating dialogue.
Basically, you fuck a girl on a period. Right before you're about to come, pull it out, titty fucker till you bust.
Wow, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
More disgusting than 2 girls in 1 cup?
No, maybe not that bad.
Critics say utterly authentic.
Just tell me what word comes to the top of your head. Tube socks.
Nice storage device.
Masturbation?
Tube socks.
2 words. Very fucking funny.
What does it matter? Someone's pissed on Bob. It doesn't matter who it was. Urine is urine!
Directorial debut of Alec Bracero.
She sure do got a pretty mouth. Not as pretty as yours, gal.
Inner Thought Productions presents Sex.com.
This ain't a game, cock drill. Now you come around here, opening your mouth one more again. I'm gonna put my dick in it. I'm gonna pop the back of your mouth.
Starring Daryl C. Scott and Gavin Layton. Sex.com. Available on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play on September 26th.
Welcome to Casa de Poon.
iTunes and chill.
The Manwhore podcast is sponsored by mybookie.ag. Man, as a lot of you know, I am a gambler and I love me some sports betting. Football's back and it's time to start betting on grown men playing a game again. The problem is a lot of sports betting sites don't really offer the full menu of options. Like, for example, today, as I'm recording this on Sunday, I wanted to do a 4-team sweetheart teaser. It's a 13-point teaser. Some of you may not know what that is. And if you don't know what that is, MyBookie has an entire page that teaches you how to sports bet. But again, back to the point. I'm trying to do a 4-team, 13-point teaser, but my sports book, the website I use, doesn't offer that, which is bullshit. If I had been betting on mybookie.ag, that bet would have paid out. Instead, on my site, I had to take a 7-point teaser, and the Seahawks couldn't cover that. So I recommend you go to mybookie.ag, and they are offering you a 100% deposit bonus. So you're already going to start with a profit. Visit mybookie.ag and use the promo code MANWHORE to receive your special deposit bonus. Now back to the show. Ronnie, hello, man. Thanks for coming up to the Bronx.
Hey, no problem. It's an interesting thing.
How you feeling?
Good. Excited.
Excited?
Nervous.
Nervous?
Yeah. I don't want to say nervous, but
It's okay. You can be real. She can't hear us right now, I think.
All right.
Let's
get honest then.
Let's get real. So feeling nervous? Why are we feeling nervous?
I mean, it's not how I typically do things, I guess you could say.
What, you don't normally have first dates where you just walk in and go down on somebody after talking on a podcast? That's not...
I mean,
Beatrice, that's not how you do dates?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Come on, man. No.
I like to be alternative,
This is 2017. If your first date doesn't involve a podcast, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion.
Well, this is perfect.
So you answered my ad on Random Acts of Muff Dive. Yes. Of which I am a big fan, comes up on the podcast often. We've had quite a few Random Acts of Muff Dive gals on the show before.
Interesting.
So
it was actually my first time going on it that first day. It
really?
was my second message I sent.
So this is your first Random Acts of Muff Dive?
Oh, yeah. My first, anything different.
I'm hoping we can set a bar. It's actually one of my most popular episodes was a gal from Random Acts. That's fun. That's fun.
Nice.
You can get an audio success story out of it.
I hope it's a success story. I don't want to hear.
Well, hopefully we'll hear. So here's what do you like about giving oral sex?
It's honestly more intimate. If you were to say sex is anyone wants to just have sex. But when you want to have oral sex, you give it, you're desiring to please. Every person is different down there, you know? Like, you could fuck them, but fucking them is different than pleasing them with your lips and doing all that. And, like, it gets more intimate with that act. And honestly, I've made girls come way more times with that than, I mean, not to say like I'm bad with that, but like, you know, it starts there and then it's like, you know, round two. So it's like good.
I mean, you kind of did. Well, what I loved about your response,
I don't even remember what I wrote.
Oh man, this may or may not embarrass you. Well, one, you said, because one of the things, so I asked people like, give me your age, give me like a picture, give me why you want to do this, and also I just said, and your favorite stand-up comedian. That was my little. That's my green M&Ms line.
Yes.
You know about Jerry Seinfeld with the green M&Ms?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a big stand-up guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was like my way of saying like, did you read the post?
All right.
And I said, give me your favorite stand-up. You said Louis C.K. Good, and Mitch Hedberg. Awesome.
Mitch Hedberg's I mean, the king of one-liners. He's awesome.
Yeah. And then you, so for your why, you go, I love sex, and I've been labeled a, quote, sex god, no pressure. I love the parenthetical aside, no pressure. I'm just, a deity walking amongst you mere mortals.
Demigod.
Demigod.
I'll be humble about it.
a cunnilingus demigod. Interesting. So, you're able to talk the big game, it seems.
Yeah. So far, I'm only talking though, so we'll see.
You're looking forward to proving it. Hey, question: do you have like any signature moves?
Yeah.
What's your signature move? What's the trademarked Ronnie move?
Okay, so this is gonna. Do you watch Seinfeld or you just quote Seinfeld?
No.
Okay, so I love Seinfeld personally, and one of the episodes, they talk about their moves, and every move I realize involves some sort of swirl. Like they have the swirl and they argue because he does the swirl that's clockwise and
they
it
have
works.
A counterclockwise
and the counterclockwise is horrible. I made a modified swirl. I don't know. I've never really given it a name.
Does it go in a certain?
It's like not a full. Well, it's right. You can't hear, right? I don't want to. I don't want to.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
I guess it's like, you got to find the clit first, so you got to start there. But then you like go to a 3/4 of a circle. You don't close it, I guess. You go like half circle and then you like go inwards and you start playing. And it's like it's like a yin yang symbol, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
So almost like a figure eight.
Right.
Fun fact: I don't swirl. I don't really swirl.
Really?
I'm a light switch guy.
I
do a comedy. Sometimes I light switch, which is like more the fuller up and down motion, and then I also just do like smash the buttons in N64 type of clit licking, where it's just like but all very short range, and then you got your longer range like light switch.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, I guess for me it's different because I don't know if I wrote it in that, but I had just recently gotten out of a long-term relationship, so everything has been dedicated towards like my ex for the last 2 years.
How long were you all together?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And how long you been broken up?
It's pretty recent, like early July.
Early July? Oh, way to get back in the game, dude. Way to get back in it.
I'm working on it.
Okay. How's your heart feeling? How's your...
It's okay. I like to call her a demon, so I'm not exactly going to be like, I still want to get back with her, but it's one of those things where she was your best friend.
And where do you learn to eat pussy?
Where do I learn?
How did you learn how to go down on a woman? I just
always loved, I don't know, I guess, so the first girl I ever went down on, it was very fun, because I never had sex with her. We were just always like...
How old were you?
15,
14, whatever, just some casual pussy licking?
No, it was my girlfriend, but like my first girl, we were dating, all that, you know what I mean? But it was like, we never had sex. We would always like 69, like all that shit, like anything like that.
The kids love a good 69.
All right.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. 28 years old, I still like a good 69 now and again.
It works, yeah. I mean, it's a fun thing, So, I don't know.
You just learn from practice?
Yeah, I practice. And then
some kids at 15 were learning to play the cello. You were learning how to eat pussy. Okay. I
mean, I was still learning. I didn't learn any instruments, but that was my instrument, I guess.
Yeah. You have any... Whoa.
Zing.
You have any anticipations, any hopes, any concerns?
About this one?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that she enjoys it.
Good. That's a good answer. It's a good answer. Well, let's get you on your way, man. All right.
I don't think I like the single. It's okay. Oh, sure. You know, you definitely told me to. Oh, curl your fingers, please. I like that. Yeah, we should stop. Just curl your fingers. Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah. What's up, no. No.
All right.
I'm
gonna steal you.
Okay.
All right, Ronnie, how'd it go, sir?
That was fun on my part.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess you'll ask
You
her on
dug
her
it?
end.
You got a lot of blood rush to your face. You're starting to look pink.
Oh yeah, I was in the zone there. I mean, like I was sweating and everything.
Yeah? Was it what you were hoping for?
Yeah, it tasted great.
Tasted great?
It was fun.
Isn't that interesting? Like the taste can be so essential because it's not.
It has
Some
to.
people go like, because the guys who go like, look, pussies taste gross. It's like you're dumb.
Dumb, yeah.
But some pussies can taste different. There's different.
Fish.
There are different flavors.
There's fish. There's
And it's not
I,
ju- and-
honestly there's yeah. I mean, I completely agree with
Yeah,
you.
there's
like,
not just good and bad. It's just there's different flavors
Yeah.
out there. You know, there's fish flavor. There's coffee. There's mint chocolate chip. That's when
white chocolate mocha.
There's birthday cake. No, like literally one
What's the
time I
birthday
one
cake?
time I ate birthday cake off a woman's pussy. So I mean that was that flavor. But so it went well. Did you have to pull out the swirl? Did you do your move?
No, it's very interesting. I realized very early on she's very different than what I'm accustomed to.
How so?
She's not into the progression of the speed as much.
What was she more into?
like some girls go like harder or faster. She doesn't like that. She likes the steady build up of just the same,
She wants repetition.
Right. And so the swirl came out a couple of times. Like it worked, but most of the time she just wanted like slow pleasing. And like the curl.
The curl. Oh, I mean the curl. Yeah, that up curl.
The curl.
That little double
Yeah.
click on the mouse. That little come hither too.
Either.
So essential. So essential.
A lot of girls like it. Some girls just get scared by it sometimes. I've actually had a girl like once I did it, they go like nope and like move back, which was interesting.
Something I've noticed, and I like how we're going to talk about how women work while there's a woman not on the microphone. Welcome to America. But yeah, sometimes I'll notice like that's if a girl is going to squirt, get close to squirting, it's usually with that motion involved. And I've had some women like stop me and they go like, I was a little freaked out. I felt like I was going to pee, or if they didn't.
Right.
I've had women who sometimes didn't know that they squirted, and then they were like, I felt this like pressure, and I was like. And because you can tell when a woman's going to squirt based off like how her pussy clenches, her vagina clenches around your fingers. I'd be like, hey, like, have you ever? So I've asked women, I was like, have you ever squirted before? Because you felt like you might be approaching that territory. So I don't know. Interesting, man. But would you want to do a round two?
Yeah, now let's go.
Oh, no, I'm in general. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your. I'm trying to let me get back into casting director mode. Thank you for your time. We shall call you and be well, man. Thanks for coming through.
I appreciate the invite.
Don't go any faster. Just. There. That's good. Don't go faster. Don't go faster. Don't go faster. Don't go faster. No.
Nadine, how did? Okay, Ronnie
was nice. Ronnie reminds me of the guys at the bars who brag about how good they are in bed. And don't get me wrong, he tried. I give him brownie points for trying and being down there as long as he was. My big problem is I would give direction, like curl your fingers, up towards the top of like obviously that's
hit G-spot.
He was constantly going just straight, and every time I reminded him, it was like he would do it for a little bit and then stop, and it's just like he got me kind of close a couple times, but then he would switch it up, and it's like no. When a woman says just like that, hey, guess what, guys? We mean just like that,
right?
We don't mean speed it up. We don't mean, and it's like eventually I was like, okay, I need a break from you spearing me as if I'm a suckling pig on a Hawaiian, picnic. Like, stop it. And it's just like, okay, all right, let me see. What else can I tell him? And it's like, I'm sitting there like, at one point just thinking, like, what can I tell him to help him out here?
And I think that's a really important thing guys need to know is like, when you figure out the thing they like, you have to repeat that thing. Like, that took me a while to learn. It was whatever works, they want it done over and over again. They don't want you to just try a bunch of fun, different stuff. It's like, no, when you find the thing, now do that until you're done.
Exactly.
Repetition being so key.
I will say me and my girlfriends have always like talked about these things, and it's been the biggest complaint among women. It's like when I say, oh yeah, just like that, don't think that by speeding up you're gonna get me to come faster. You've just ruined it, and now you gotta start from the beginning.
Right.
Sorry, kid.
Yeah, it's like falling down one of the chutes and Chutes and Ladders.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, nah,
oh
I
God,
guess
that's perfect.
perfect. Right. All right. So would you hook up with Ronnie again?
No.
No. Okay.
Sorry,
But
Ronnie.
nice guy.
Nice guy. Very nice guy. Good tattoo.
Good tattoo. But ultimately, the skill level wasn't quite what you were hoping. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Well, let's see what the next guy's got to offer.
Okay.
David.
Hi.
Buddy.
Billy.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm pretty good. Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm I'm very much in a state of like I'm gonna go in, and it's weird. Like I've never been judged in the moment.
You never had a judging? Well, you're not gonna get judged. Well, you're always judged in the
Oh
moment.
no,
It's like
absolutely, but never like with like a scorecard.
Oh.
Like this is like sure every time like
we got a French judge and a Mexican judge and the Canadian judge, and of course the French judge fucks it up for everybody.
Well, to be fair, he's really great at oral.
He's like, these Americans, they don't know what you're doing.
Too much lips, not enough tongue.
The '84 Winter Olympics all over again. I don't know which Winter Olympics that was. But
it's weird. I did go in there on skates.
Yeah, so it's a weird choice for cunnilingus where there's no video. But hey,
yeah, hey, whatever keeps me focused and in balance.
Well, the reason this guy's so good. Can I say what you do? Just at least profession wise.
Sure. Yeah,
Sure.
go ahead. Yeah.
The funny profession.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, the reason the guy's so good at improv and so funny, I mean, my friend David here is also a stand-up comedian.
Yep. Yeah. I've known you for a couple of years now.
Yeah. So a good guy. I thought you'd be fun to have on this.
Yeah, it's weird because I asked how many comedians you had asked about it, and you were like, no, just you. And
Oh
I
my
was
God, why would I ask comedians to do like I've had comedians respond to that post I did.
Oh, okay.
But why would I actively ask comics?
It's just good to know I have a brand.
Yeah. It's like, yes, they are like sad and desperate and would do it, but
is it
do I
gonna be
want to
good?
subject her to that much bad sex?
It's just as
just you. That's the only bad sex I want her to experience.
as they're going down on her, they're like, "You good? You good? How you feeling upstairs?"
Yeah, can you just like validate me? Because my father never did.
Too close to home. Okay. Because he wasn't too close to home.
So David, so obviously you're doing this because I imagine you enjoy giving oral sex. Right?
I do enjoy giving oral sex. I also like part of what I like. I try and dispel the myth of like that like the female orgasm is like this crazy Rubik's cube of a thing you have to figure out. It's like no, if everybody's calm and comfortable, it's the same way like. Guy, you just have to know where to go.
Oh, where does one go? Cleveland?
Clit all day.
Oh, I thought
Clit, Nebraska.
Clit, Nebraska.
Have you been to Clit, Nebraska? That's there's 7 monks there that will teach you everything about oral sex.
And then your dick lights up bright yellow like the Iron Fist.
Yeah, it just goes. I have the power. That's He-Man. Okay.
It's funny because I recognize that reference as Race Wars, not He-Man.
Oh yeah, that's where that's from.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought that was all him.
Nope.
I thought that was
that's literally the He-Man theme song. I'm pretty sure.
Well, so before we like accidentally like
Dive in,
spiral off into like an accidental 1 hour episode,
yeah, before we
just
do a
with you,
podcast.
it's like fuck this whole thing. Let's just talk.
I've been trying.
Yes. What? Where did you learn how to eat pussy?
The internet.
Really?
So I grew up. I was my freshman year of high school. I was 4'7".
Yeah.
So
That's
no
your
one.
height, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Dick also 7. Weird. Actually, I did have like my dick grew in way before my body did.
Yeah.
And so people would be like, "That's not true," and I'd be like, "We can," but everybody was like weird, like because I was so small and awkward, and I was pretty much immediately desexualized. So I had this huge like inferiority complex that came with that.
Wait, your dick was too big for your body, you're saying?
Well, that's not why I was insecure.
Right.
That's actually like I didn't realize it was. This is dumb and super jerk off braggy, but I didn't realize my dick was big because I would watch porn and I was like, it looks normal.
Beatrice, was that super braggy?
It's up there.
It totally is braggy.
If it makes you feel better, we had the last guy in here. He answered the Reddit ad for this.
Yes.
With his reason of why he wanted to do it is like, well, I've been called a sex god, no pressure.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so the one thing I'm like definitely doing about this is managing expectations. Because no matter how it goes, like, I don't want to come in here and be like, listen, I'm the best. And then come out and be like, a lot of mistakes were made.
You come out just like talking about Iraq, be like,
No,
we thought
jeez.
the weapons were going to be in her vagina. They weren't, and we're sorry.
We couldn't find Osama bin Laden in those caves.
Right. So you said you learn how to eat pussy from the internet. What,
Yeah.
Google search? Is this from porn? Like, what's it from?
Like Google, like it was like, so the inferiority complex thing, I was like, oh, if I'm not good at sex, women aren't going to want to be around. Like, they're not going to stay because I'm not attractive enough for them to keep fucking a bad at sex guy.
Right.
So I just looked and I was like, okay, how do you do this? And they're like, okay, make sure you play a lot with here. And then
where did you go? Like, what was
I think I
your
Googled.
resource?
I think I just Googled. I was like, how do you pussy?
Okay, and did you don't remember the site or
No, I don't
the
remember the site. I
resource?
also I have friends who are sex therapists and stuff, and they post articles and like, so like, you go check, you figure out, you go see what's up with what they say. It's like, hey, try this, try this, try this, and then also, I mean, now I do pretty well. I do a lot of online dating and stuff, so I've learned. It's like just practice and experience, and you start being able to figure out like, oh, hey, hips moving, great thing.
Yeah, so you like to read the nonverbals.
Oh yeah. I mean, if they're
that's how
giving me actual verbal instruction, beautiful, great.
And she that's the thing. So my friend Roxanne, like one of her things is that she is not shy. Roxanne.
Yeah, I'm on my too much, not enough falsetto.
I know.
Left in the chamber.
Roxanne.
Yeah, no one's Sting here.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed. I do a fuck show where I'm a comedian. I'm not even close to singer.
Yeah, the closest thing Billy does is Sting is hit people with his 2-inch dick.
Oh, shots fired.
Not yet. If I win.
Now you better do a good job in there or you're going to get nothing but shat on. It's going to be awesome.
That's great. Look, I'm here. I've got a mission.
How would, and that's the thing. It's like, I would say, I've been trying to tell people, and I've told them online or in person, say, the expectation should not be you're going to go in there to make her come. If you make her come, fantastic. But, you are working under like a time limit. You only got 10, 12, 15
and
minutes.
it's like a different situation. It's
yeah,
like,
this is an
a,
audition. This is like put your best foot forward. Like
Yeah.
Make a good impression. She's gonna get the idea if you're good, and if I walk in and interrupt you while she's getting close, she's gonna know. Okay, this guy can get me close.
Also, she might just tell you to go back.
No, I'm running this bitch. This is. I'm like, look, we got a line. We got appointments. Got to get through this. We got to get done before union hours or something.
I didn't realize this was a union set.
It's a union gig. Yeah, that's
there a
why.
gaffer
That's
in
why
there?
she's just sitting there, but she is getting paid top dollar. No, $0. No, she's like, wait, what? Oh no! Oops. I don't know how we got here. Sting, I think.
Yeah, I have no idea either, Billy.
How would you rate your cunnilingus skills from a 1 to a 10? 10 being fantastical.
I think I'm pretty good. I don't know, like a 7 or an 8.
7 or 8? Okay.
Yeah.
Modest but confident.
I'm pretty, like, I mean, so like I always see those memes where it's like guy orgasm, it's like press a button. Girl orgasm, it's a Rubik's Cube. I'm like, no, you just the clit. You hang out at the clit, play with the G spot, make sure everything's fun.
You say that like it's a comedy. Like, look, just go hang out at Stand Up New York. Eventually, someone will ask if you want to do checks.
Hang out at the clit. Eventually, someone will come.
Well, oh no! Now I remember my point from before. It's like the expectations are more like have a fun time, make a good impression.
Yeah,
and because if you do, then like she will probably want to give you a callback. Yeah, to continue.
I
with
can get a callback.
This casting director metaphor ruse I'm putting on.
Okay, so I know no dick stuff is involved.
Right.
In this, I don't know if this should have been before the podcast or whatever. But is it like just strictly like she's there, legs spread? Just,
no, okay. All that's gonna happen is you're gonna go in. You will be wearing latex gloves for safer sex practices. You'll be doing a little.
I understand why some people get.
Some people were like weirded out by it. And
it does. It's like it makes you feel like a doctor. You're like, all right, this is good. Checks out.
Well, like we had one guy who went in like with them right away on. We had one guy who said, "I'm gonna put them on in there." Like after I shake her hand, so it doesn't feel like that.
Skin on skin. Yeah.
But some people are just so weirded out by they were weirded out by the Listerine thing. I was just like, look, clearly you haven't been to like sex parties where like someone's gonna interact with like 5-6 pairs of hands, and the
It's
easiest
better
way to
to
do
keep
it.
it-
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, yes, you can send each guy to go wash his hands thoroughly and she can go like scrub her pussy like each time. Or we could just like have you do some mouthwash,
I
wear
mean, as
gloves.
look, I've always wanted to wear condoms on my hands. So
Yeah. So yeah, you just walk in and what happens.
Okay.
And the only thing I know is that you guys can either end it when one of you wants to end it, or it
Okay.
ends when I open the door and say, "Okay, we're good here. Thanks for your time."
Great. Okay.
And yeah, and then the only other thing is if she shouts Billy, then I'm to kick the door in because you're doing something improper.
okay,
So-
yeah, that probably won't be.
Yeah,
a
she
thing.
probably. I mean, yeah, but that would be weird if she like subconsciously screamed my name when she was coming. That would be probably not good because I would just rush in there and interrupt something great happening.
Billy, your ego knows no bounds.
No, it does not. No, it does not. Come on, man. I do a show where it's all about my dick. It's not even about me. It's about where my dick's been. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Before I send you in there, do you have any signature moves?
No, not really. Like, I mean, I don't think, like, at least not, like, there's a couple positions that I feel like are underplayed, but for pussy eating, it's like, it's pretty much start figuring out what's working for her. I don't know, like a little bit, drag the teeth down. I don't know. Is that a move?
Drag the teeth down.
Just
What is-
like, just very lightly, just like I like, it's hard to, yeah, I just kind of like, just pull it a little bit. Like, you just, yeah, but I don't know. Some people like it, some people don't. So, you know.
Okay. Well, I'm interested to hear how this works out.
Yeah,
and
I am curious too.
let's get you in there.
Oh, a little higher and there, like, oh, just your hand. Oh, God. Oh, that feels good. Oh, softer, small pretty. God.
David,
Hey,
how'd it go?
Great.
Yeah,
It went great.
You came out a little early. You came out like a couple minutes ahead of time. I feel like
well,
you guys-
because she had finished.
she finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That
I heard a little bit of noises.
There were noises. Everything. She's very good at like directing. Like she's like, oh, I'm really liking this. I'm like, great. I can do more of that. It's very calm, and then it's just like if. Like my biggest thing whenever I'm like insecure, it's because I don't really know what's supposed to be happening. But that was very obvious what was supposed to be happening. And so I'm like,
when it started getting loud, you were like, oh, this is probably good.
well, not even, well, yeah, that. But like, I mean, just at the beginning, I'm like, so what are the rules? She's like, I don't know if there really are rules. I'm like, great, okay, and then I know what I'm doing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Was it what you were hoping it would be?
Yeah, it was exactly like it was exactly what I was expecting. Like when she's very good. Like I said, she's very good at getting direction. So I was like, oh, I'll just do more of that, do more of this. And she was like, that feels really good. She's very, and then she finished and she was like, so like laid back. And then she was just like, all right. So thank you. And at one point, or like at the end, she was just like, okay, I literally need a break. And I'm like, great. That's a good sign.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
so I feel pretty confident.
Would you want to see her again?
Yeah, sure. Like actually, but I mean, like
Well,
talk to her as a person.
without microphones and shit like this. Yeah.
Oh, without microphones? No thanks.
Such a comedian answer.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, as far as everything seems fine,
great,
but
yeah.
also, get to know someone.
Of course.
You know.
Rockin', dude. Thanks, Dave. Thanks so much for coming through.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
all
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Oh, God, yeah. You're taller, higher on my clit. There, yeah. Oh, God.
Roxanne.
Yeah.
Post David. Give me the debrief. Give me the deets. Give me the David deets.
Pretty good.
You pretty good?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell he's a smoker. But other than that, it's like once you get over that part.
Yeah. Oh shit. You could smell that or taste it through the mouthwash.
Yeah.
Or did your pussy? Could you just sense it? It was just
Yeah,
like,
of
hey,
course.
this guy's a smoker. We can sense it from down here.
Yes, all women are capable of that. I'm not sure if you knew. But no, it was definitely good. And once I went a little direction and he listened and got the perfect movement. So it's like, yes, oh my God, I'm close and I'm actually going to get there this time.
Yay! Any feedback, criticisms, suggestions?
I'm not sure. Criticisms, maybe, I don't know, picking up on like movement a little bit more. Like, I kind of realized like you're kind of holding a little too close and a little too still. I need a little back and forth, a little,
So it was like going in and then a lot of double clicking, but you wanted like a full
back and forth
with,
or just
okay,
like
sure.
latching onto the clit and kind of like. No,
Did he do anything with his teeth?
Not that I
No,
felt.
it came up before, and I was like, interesting. He's like, there's a teeth drag, and I'm like,
Please don't do that. Please, God, don't do that. That doesn't sound fun.
Well, it doesn't sound like he did that on you.
Thank you. Thank you for not doing that, David. Thank you.
But you enjoyed it? It was a good
Yes.
time? Would you want to see him again?
I think so.
Think he's cute?
Yeah.
Cute guy? Yeah, you
He's
like
a cute guy.
the shagginess? He's like a shorter Shaggy
I do like-
without the dog.
Aw, no dog?
I mean, not that I know of.
Damn. Okay.
Okay, cool, awesome. Well, let's get you to the next dude.
Okay.
Yeah, how you feeling so far? You're halfway through, a little over halfway, right?
Feeling good. This has been an interesting and fun event.
How's the pussy feel? Like
a little on the sore side,
on the
but
sore
I
side.
can handle
Can you
that.
handle it?
Like
Okay.
to
And
me,
you can
that's
probably
fun.
direct to be like, okay, I'm a little sore, but like there's all these other things you can do with my pussy right now. Like, so do these things and that. And
And it's not even all about pussy either. It's like, guys, don't
Just
be
stuff.
afraid to like kissing and like the touching part. It's also good.
We'll talk after. We'll
Okay.
talk after about that.
Okay.
But cool. Okay. I'm gonna bring in you another eager tongue.
Okay.
There you go. That's what I want.
Rashawn, what's up, dude? Thanks for coming out.
No, man. Thank you very much for having me, dude. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So what's got you interested in doing this?
Well, I've read your posts, and it was like, if any guy who has any type of pussy eating confidence, to come here and do this. And I was like, you know what? I do have pussy eating confidence, which is a thing that most guys would say. I have pussy eating confidence, but like I taught myself how to do this through one of my ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, where do you learn how to eat pussy?
So there was a girl I dated back in Albany. She was my upstairs neighbor, and like for a long time, I just would never go down there. Like, pussy wasn't the thing I would do, But with her, I was like, you know what? Let me try it, right? So I tried it, and
wait, what was the offer? What, did she just knock on your door, be like, hey, like, welcome to the neighborhood? I just want to say, like, in case you're interested, like, hey, I got a twat that needs some licking. I'm in 2B.
No, so pretty much like she's my upstairs neighbor. She moved in, and then she kind of like stalked me on Facebook, in a way. And so when she finally like came down to say hello, or I met her downstairs, we just started talking a lot more. Then we started like hooking up, and then we eventually started being boyfriend and girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And then it's like we would always, I live upstairs, she lived upstairs, I live downstairs, and I would sometimes go upstairs just to hang out with her, do whatever, and then we have sex. And there's one day I was just like, I'm gonna go down here. Like, I'm not sure what to do down there. Like, porn doesn't really tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So
it's a problem that porn is the de facto sex ed, unless someone like a cool ex or like a big brother, or you buy like one of these books that are banned in most schools. So there's no real way to like learn.
There isn't. So I was lucky enough to like just try it on her, and I really didn't know what I was doing. But whatever I did, it worked. Like, it's one thing like if you good at fingering girls or whatever. Like, the first time I ever learned about the clit was from a lesbian.
Wait, okay.
Like, it's way back in the day. Like, I was like,
if you want a good teacher as a straight man, I feel like a lesbian's like
would do well.
A good one to have.
So like, I think it was either 17 or 18, right? I think it was 17 or 18, and I was friends. I used to be friends with a lot of lesbians and gay people. And my friend Deanna, she had a friend up in Massachusetts who she would like come and get and hang out with. So it was myself, Deanna, and Deanna's girlfriend. We drove up to Massachusetts. And
hold on one second.
Yeah, sure.
You were saying, so you were going up with
So we went all the way to Massachusetts. I got her friend, and her friend is like this like short, very butchy, lesbian girl. So we drove back down to Albany. So what we would do sometimes without the other girls, like me and Deanna and her girlfriend, we would like do the sex dice thing.
The what?
The sex dice. You know what's the sex dice?
Oh, the game to like go through people's inhibitions through this arbitrary rule of dice.
Yeah.
Where then there's always someone on phone who's like, actually, I don't want to do that one. Can I re-roll? I'd be like, no, bitch, there's a rules. There's a game.
Exactly.
This is like, you got to treat this like Jumanji. Like, you roll, those dice stick.
That's how that works. So.
Oh my God, that's a porno right there. The porn Jumanji.
Oh my God.
Where it's like you have to, until you lick that click good, like you're all stuck and frozen in place. You can't pick the dice up. They're just stuck on the floor. Oh my God. Someone needs to write that erotica of story and then send it to me so I can beat off to it. Okay, so y'all would play with the sex dice.
So we played the sex dice, and pretty much after the sex dice, we would just do all of us. We
Even
just
with
hanging.
even the lesbian was like,
Yes.
yeah.
So this particular day we did a sex ice, whatever. So it was Deanna and her girlfriend and me and the lesbian. They were supposed to switch, right? So I'm on the bed with the lesbian, and I'm like fingering her, and she was like, "I don't know what you're doing. Just go up a little bit more." So I went up a little bit more, and then I started the clit thing, and then she was like, "I'm about to come." And I'm
The
like,
clit thing. That, is
yeah.
that your signature
Yes, the
move? Are
clit
you
thing,
going
yeah,
to tell me that's
yeah.
your signature move, the clit thing?
"Listen, brother, we're gonna do the clit thing." You know?
On 3, ready, break.
You know, so she did that. And she was like, "I was about to come," and I didn't really know what that meant, but I knew it was something good. So you kind of get it.
And how old are you during this?
I think I was 17 or 18.
17 or 18? Okay,
Yeah.
and so you got some good teachings, and
Yeah.
it's something you like doing?
I love doing. I get for most dates, like I would just do that and just go home.
Yeah, not even take your dick out?
Not even
so
take
this
my
isn't
dick
even
out.
going to be an issue, because the rules in this is obviously the penis is not involved.
Yeah.
So that's not even an issue for
Yeah.
you. You're going to be like, yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, no, I've done that before. This one
You're
girl,
like, if I do a good enough job, she'll want that penis out.
yeah, I just yeah, man, I'm okay. I like doing it a lot, and over the time, I've just learned to get a little better at it. I mean, like sometimes you always fall off, you know, because you haven't done it in a while. But
Yeah.
you know, I think
You can get out of practice.
what do you say? It's like a bicycle.
I
just
agree.
yeah.
I don't.
you know?
I don't think it's like a thing you just get rusty at.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
it's not. So I mean,
fucking, I think you can get rusty at. I think if you
Yes,
go a long time
totally.
without fucking, your stamina gets a little
Yes.
fucked up, your confidence. But I feel like eating pussy.
But
That's
eating
like,
pussy,
no,
yeah.
I'll never forget how to
yeah,
do
no,
that.
you can hop right back on a fucking bicycle.
Is this the weirdest first date you've ever been on?
Is this the weirdest first? No. Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
just a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. I've been on crazy weird first dates where people just doesn't add up or whatever, but like nothing like this.
Where there's microphones and where a guy
No,
who
yeah,
ate her
the
out
microphone,
before
yeah.
you comes out mid
He's
conversation.
like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know.
And you know him.
Yeah.
And- Cool, man. Well, let's get you in there in a moment. I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm wishing you the best of luck on this audition. I hope you get a call back.
Oh, man.
and maybe even get the role. Who knows? Yeah.
I'm looking for that role. I do. What's up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. Fuck, this feels so good. Oh, yes. No, it's so good. More. Just a bit.
It's your turn on The Price is Right.
Oh.
How did it go?
I think it seems to go pretty fantastic.
You think it went
Yeah,
fantastic?
I mean, it went fantastic.
It went
It
fantastic?
went fantastic. I mean, at least on my end, I kind of went in there kind of slow.
Kinda
you know,
slow.
I could just a nice soft caress and just a little bit more sensual. You know,
Any particular reason?
because you just can't go down there and do it. Like you kind of have to get the person in the type of mood where like she is willing to like have you do that to her. It's like, so if she's calmed down a little bit, she's more willing to kind of let herself go.
Yeah.
And when you're down there, you know,
Did knowing that there's been like several dudes in there already like alter your plan of attack a little bit?
not at all, man.
Not at all?
This is kind of what
You
I
had
do
your
on a
blinders
regular
on, you had your
basis.
sexual blinders on.
Yeah, this is
Run
kinda-
your race.
that's how I do it, man. And I fuck everyone else, man. I just do me, you know.
And what did you think of her when you walked in?
Oh, she was fantastic. She's very cute, and she
Very
has
cute?
I don't know if anyone said this, but she has a pretty pussy.
She has a pretty pussy.
She has a pretty pussy.
What makes a pretty pussy?
You know, to be honest with you, I cannot tell you what it is. I've seen some pussies. Not all of them were great, but I've seen some ones that are just like, oh my god, like that's a work of art. I don't even want to touch it. Like that. That's
I want to paint it. I want to
exactly.
be Jack. You be my Rose. I'm just gonna paint you right now.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
You know. So, yeah, no.
Would you want to see her again?
I don't know. This is fantastic. I was kind of just seeing if if I'm good at what I say I do.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Just to kinda
you like it
test
as a standalone film, no
Yeah,
sequel needed. The studios are coming at you like, hey, we'd like we want to make a trilogy out of this. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, this whole franchise is we can make our own MCU of eating pussy, but you're like, nah, man, this is a one-off. It's leave it as is. Otherwise, we're
Yeah.
gonna have diminishing returns, and who knows? And then next thing you know, you've got the Defenders.
It's true. I got you.
Well, thanks for coming through, dude.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, dude, for sure.
Oh, God, move your hand inside me. Back and forth. Oh, yes.
Your hair has gotten progressively more disheveled. I feel like after when I come in after this last guy, your hair's going to be standing up like a science film.
I know. I keep trying to tame it. It's not happening.
How was Rashad?
Rashad was actually exactly what I needed.
Yeah?
After 4 people.
Yeah, he was number 4, yeah.
He was number 4. It was softer, and it was interesting because, you know, he's just like, do I just get right down to it? I'm like, you can touch and kiss. I'm like, you know, these things are important.
There's
like,
other
for
parts
women.
of the body too. Just because you're going down on women doesn't mean you only focus on the vulva. Like, you know, there's arms, there's legs, there's breasts, there's necks, there's mouths.
Kissing is fantastic. People enjoy it and embrace it. It's, you know, it's part of the whole like warm up too. It's like if a guy's ever gone down a girl and she's like cold and stiff and uncomfortable, it's because you didn't do enough kissing and touching and warming her up to begin with.
Yeah.
So
and meanwhile, you've had a ton of warm up.
So he was softer and gentler, and it was like exactly what I kind of needed. And I think for him, I didn't even have to give as much direction. I think he was one of those like very rare smart guys who kind of like can hear when a woman's moaning and when she's like, when something feels good, her body's reacting. And I think he could actually tell. And that was like awesome.
that ever sought after high sexual IQ. Is the way I like to call it, sexual IQ, where like you know how to read the nonverbals, you know what you're doing in bed. But I think also high sexual IQ includes being able to take direction. Doesn't mean you can just jump in on anybody and nail it right away, but that you can alter, you can pivot, you can audible to things based on that particular person.
Yeah.
I think that goes into
Definitely
it.
makes, and that, you know, makes tons of sense. I was like, I don't really have to say much. I can just kind of lay here and enjoy this. This is fantastic.
Wonderful. Would you want to see him again?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, great. That's awesome. That's really fun.
Yeah.
So we got one more left.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Good. I think one more is about as much as I could take for a night, definitely.
Excited?
Excited, nervous. Yeah. For each one, I'm always going to be nervous, no matter what.
Is this last guy, would you prefer, is there anything in particular you would need or want from this guy being at the tail end of things?
I'm definitely hoping for nobody who's expecting to go rough and tumble. Like, that's not going to happen tonight, kid.
Right. Cool.
But, you know, also just, you know, if you can take direction, if you can hear, like, I'm saying this feels good, but that doesn't.
Sure.
That's pretty much all anyone really needs.
Okay, but not too sore to be able to take anything else.
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes.
Thanks.
Hello there, Chris.
Hi.
Thanks for coming out to the Bronx to eat out my friend. That's very nice of you to do. Sorry, I gotta get in casting director mode. Thank you for coming in today. Thank you for your time. You'll be here to audition for the role of fucking my friend.
And we're already on the couch. So
already on the couch, right? The casting couch. Except you don't have to blow anyone to get the role. It's gotta look a little pussy. Hello, hi.
Hi.
So you came to me through the Random Acts of Muff Dive subreddit.
Yes.
Very popular on this podcast. It has come up many times. We've had many gals from the subreddit on the show. My audio success stories,
right,
so to speak. And so I guess I got to ask to be on that subreddit. You gotta love going down on women.
Yeah,
right?
I do actually. Yeah.
What do you love about it?
I have to be honest. What I really enjoy is maybe it's a fetish. I don't know, but I just love watching women come.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, and I kind of get off on being in control of it too a little bit.
You're good.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, to sum it up. It's,
fantastic. Well, you're of an age. You're 45.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you've been with women for a while now.
Been around the block. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like you've been with women almost as long as I've been alive. So I guess what I've been asking a lot of people is like, where did you learn how to eat pussy? And it's interesting because of the age difference. So some people say they learned, one of the earlier guys said he just like Googled how to eat pussy, but you come from an age where it's just like, that wasn't an option.
Google meant something with a lot of zeros after it.
Yeah, right.
No, I have to say I was a really early bloomer. And for me, I would sneak into the local library, and like, of course you're curious, you hear about this book, The Joy of Sex, right? So you got to go check it out in the library. Just back where we had books on shelves many moons ago. And, I started and I guess I was like early teens. I started messing around when I was young, but I didn't really have any skills at anything, like all of us when we start,
Right.
And I guess I just wanted to be better at it. And So, you start walking into that one section where the librarian knows all the sex books are, and of course she follows you. And,
Yeah, it's just like, I know what you're doing.
Right,
back
I know what
there.
you're doing.
She just basically wants to make sure the kids aren't jerking off in the stacks.
Well, no, back then it was a much pruder time too, I think.
Were you in a more prudent part of the country as well, if I may ask?
I don't...
Comfortable saying a state?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm actually from Long Island, so...
Oh,
yeah.
okay. It was really uptight in Long Island?
Well, the older generation.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like there were a lot of young librarians.
Right, but
ever.
in the 80s and 90s, I feel like, we were at least past sexual revolution.
Yeah, well, we're talking early 80s.
Okay.
It's and even though the younger generation got past it, the older generation didn't.
Sure.
Even still this day and age, I mean, self-excluded, but a lot of people my age are not nearly as liberal as I am sexually,
Sexually liberal? How so?
I think most people have a vanilla sex life, for the most part.
Oh, is yours more of a rocky road?
Yes, moose tracks maybe.
What are you into? What makes you so not vanilla?
I don't know. I just like to experiment with everything, to be honest with you.
Sure. Anything in particular? Anything stick?
Not. I mean, lately I've been into a little more the lighter side of BDSM.
That ponytail has Dom written all over it.
Sure, the ponytail has musician written all over it. Actually, to be honest, the ponytail has lazy written all over it because this is the easiest hairstyle in the world to maintain.
Sure.
Just get up in the morning, brush it back, throw a little gel in for the flyaways, and that's it, and walk out the door.
Well, so what do you experiment in BDSM? Anything in particular?
Mostly, I've been doing a lot of edging and orgasm control.
Yeah, you did ask about that, and I was
forced orgasm stuff, and I've been on I've figured out I'm a switch. I mean, I like to be on the giving and the receiving end of those things.
Yeah, edging's fantastic as a dude. I love just. I think I first got to experiment with that inadvertently because it wasn't part of it. But like if I got a happy ending massage, when I started getting those, they would almost just do that. And if I kept lasting long enough, they would just keep doing it slow enough. So it would be wonderful. I'd really just try to hold that back. And when they could tell that's what I was doing, some of them who were cool and not clock watchers, they'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's see like where we can take this.
Right.
It's fantastic. And then that orgasm, I mean, feels like the universe is coming out of your cock, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then, I mean, you shoot your load, you put it through your window and into your neighbors. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And so I've always been curious about how that works with women, like how to do forced orgasms. Because part of the reason why we're here is because like the woman's not getting enough orgasm.
Right.
So I feel like you don't have to force it too much.
Well, forced orgasm, what that is that you keep going and you don't stop.
So that point with the guy in that like after he comes, it's really sensitive.
That's sensitive.
You're saying when she's coming, you just don't stop even when she's too sensitive.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
That's really what it is. And my interpretation of it anyway. I mean, that's the way I like to do it. And it's amazing. I mean, and just to have a woman come until she just is exhausted. Like she can't even, you can't touch her anymore.
Yeah. Question, do you have like a signature move when it comes to oral sex?
I don't. I have, I have different techniques I try, and it's different from woman to woman. It's, every woman is completely different. Their sensitive areas are always a little bit. I mean, obviously, in the same area, but always, detail wise, it's always a little different.
Yeah, some like going a little to the left, some a little to the right. Some are like get out of my house. Everyone has their own different thing.
Yeah, I've actually, and it's actually funny. I'm a scientist, so studying biology and everything, studying developmental biology in my spare time. You realize the parts of the clit and everything that are actually parallel to the parts of like the penis. And if you know where your penis is sensitive, you know exactly where her clit's going to be sensitive and follow through on that. And that'll usually take her. And usually quickly, I have to be honest.
Do you get like, are there hints in the animal kingdom, like in other species where it's like, I hear that the baboon does actually this way. And if you can just mimic it a little bit, you can do that on a human lady.
Well, I wouldn't take the animal kingdom that way because they're not really doing it for pleasure.
Sure.
For the most part, they're doing it just to solely for procreation for the most part. Right. Not that it doesn't feel good, otherwise they wouldn't want to do it in the first place.
Yeah. So is this the weirdest first date you've ever been on?
It might be.
Might be? Yeah. I like how it's a might. You're like, I don't know. We got microphones. Another dude just came out the room before me, but I still got to think about it. There was that time in 96.
Yeah, there've been a lot of blackouts over the years, so
Amazing. So how are you feeling? You feeling nervous? You feeling excited? What's going through your head right now?
Honestly, as a musician and performer, I always say if you don't have butterflies when you're about to walk on stage, don't walk on stage. So
Ooh.
yeah, you want to make sure you're going to do a good job. So you should be a little nervous.
Okay.
Not functionally distraught. But,
Well, I'm pulling for you, and I hope it's a good
Thank you.
audition, man. And
Me too.
who knows? Maybe
See
you
what
get a call
happens.
back, maybe get the role. We'll see.
Fantastic. Either
All
way, it's worth it just for the experience.
All right, Chris. So
Yeah.
what happened? I walked in, and y'all were just doing this weird thing where y'all were talking.
Well, I have to tell you, there was a ton of oral, but none of it was mouth to genital.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it was. We just started chatting, and time was gone.
Time was gone.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So-
what the fuck did y'all talk about?
Just life, what we do for a living, things like that, and it was nice. It was a nice conversation. Really
Like
good.
almost a date.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, almost like a real first date.
So strange
Yeah.
considering what we're doing.
Exactly.
How dare y'all be normal during this weird experiment?
I
of
think I
mine.
pushed the envelope on the rules.
Oh man, okay.
So-
But was the chatting good?
It was. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
As she said, mentally stimulating.
I think she enjoyed it very much. Yeah.
Would
So-
you have wanted to keep talking?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're definitely on a good track wherever we were going with that. So.
Sure. Were you into her? Did you think
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
cute?
Really
Stuff like
cute.
that?
Really cute. Yeah.
Well, what else would you have to say about her?
I
I know you didn't get to
definitely-
actually taste. I know you got to hear somebody talk about the taste of her, yeah, or the look of her, but you didn't get to actually witness yourself. Do you
Yeah. I had a really enjoyable time talking to her. We seemed to have at least interested in what each other has to say, and it's so. She seems really intelligent. She seems to enjoy what she does for a living. She, we talked about how much the MTA sucks, and
Yeah.
which just happens to be a New Yorker conversation. I think.
Right.
I think that's how we all break the ice right nowadays.
Do you
So-
feel disappointed?
No, not at all.
Not
No.
even a little bit.
No,
You did come all the way to the Bronx. If you came to Midtown, I'd be like, look, dude, it's fine. It's a very central location.
You know
But
what?
come all the way to the
If-
Bronx for a specific thing.
I have to say, if I had come here and all she wanted to do was talk and not get to the next step, I would say, yeah. If it felt to me like it was a delay,
Yeah.
or kind of like she was put off by me when she saw me and she was like delaying and didn't want. I mean, you can pick up on those vibes.
Sure. So you felt
but
like
it felt completely
You
genuine.
felt like
to
if
me.
you had a full hour with her, like it would have gone in that direction.
Oh yeah. I think
Oh.
at some point we would have gotten there.
So you'd want to
So-
see her again for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Amazing.
definitely.
Awesome, man.
yeah.
Well, we will see what she has to say.
All right.
All
Well,
right. And you'll get
fingers
to
crossed and-
hear it at some point. Awesome. And well,
So-
thanks for coming up to the Bronx. I'm sorry you didn't get to get your face wet with juices, but it seems like you had a good
Actually,
time.
between me and you, there's a fire hydrant still leaking out there, so yeah, I could just make it look good for the subway.
Amazing. Awesome, man. Well, thanks a lot for coming through,
Oh, yeah,
man.
appreciate
Much
it.
appreciated.
Yeah, just like that.
So Roxanne, Chris.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Nothing actually sexual happened.
I know. I walked in, and I heard y'all talking. I was like, okay, cool. There's a lot of warm up, and then I kept looking at the stopwatch. I was like, a lot of warm up. It's fine. That's cool. And then just by the time I was like, look, if I'm not hearing moaning by now, it's not going to be happening at this moment. So I'm going to just walk in, and y'all were just at the edge of the bed talking.
Yeah.
Fully clothed.
Fully clothed. It was interesting.
You were doing a little head nod thing. What was that about?
Because it was interesting because I didn't feel like he was going to make a move, and I didn't really feel like there was an opportunity or even a moment. And I'm not going to completely pounce because yes, women can push themselves onto men, and that's wrong too. So I was just kind of like, all right, we're going to keep talking about interesting things like E. coli. And
Wait, so did you want to pounce on him?
I don't know if I did. Wouldn't say I wanted to pounce on him. I definitely wanted to get to know him more, and he was definitely more like orally stimulating in the way of like, I'm really interested in everything he has to say. Like this is like,
Yeah, I said
it's a whole different kind of like thing to like get me interested in.
I said to him during his post game, I was like, it's almost as if y'all had a date, right?
A little bit more like that, yeah. And it was interesting because it was just like, not knowing how to broach the subject, and we were just kind of standing there. So I'm like, okay, let's at least sit on the bed.
So it was
Let's get
really
closer.
oh my god, were y'all just standing for a while?
for a little bit.
Oh my.
I know. It was interesting.
Okay. But so you would have wanted something to happen, but just no one seemed to make a move.
Yeah, it was kind of like one of those like a move just didn't seem to like present itself either. So it was just like,
Sure.
all right, I'm not going to pounce on you after E. coli and talking about giant worms.
Do you, oh my, wait, so what were the topics of conversation?
What he does for a living.
Okay, sure.
Which involves things like E. coli.
Right.
And,
He said he was a scientist. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then
that what I do for a living, which is basically coloring.
Okay. And then got the E. coli
and
and big
traveling, which was like important to me and something he does. So it was like, oh, you just stimulated. Tell me about the countries you've been to. I want to hear this.
So do you almost feel like you have like mental blue clit? Like you feel like you feel like you got edged and teased mentally, but didn't get to have that big intellectual O because I walked in?
Oh, I think that the intellectual O takes a lot longer than like even a couple hours.
Right. Okay.
So I've never heard of blue clit. Billy, thank you for a new term in my world.
Oh, you never heard of blue clit?
No.
Oh, I mean that's like if we rub you for like 10 minutes, we get you really close to the edge and then just stop.
Oh, so punched in the face.
Like blue ball, like blue, yeah, like blue balls, but for the ladies. Would you have wanted to see him again?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you would give it a shot and be
yeah.
like, and see like, maybe like I'll sit on your face another night. But
yeah, maybe something that's like it has to like after talking our asses off.
Talking, a glass of wine, like so. Yeah. Like a real date.
Maybe, and that might be what
you would go on a real date with Chris.
I think so.
Okay. What'd you think of the ponytail?
Definitely. Well, considering he was older, I was more accepting of it.
He was within your range.
He was within my.
He's at the upper end of your range that you gave me, but he was within the range.
It was. I mean, I don't mind long hair in a guy. I appreciate it, and if you've got the patience to grow it out, good for you.
Well, if y'all do end up going out again, and then you do finally get to see his oral capabilities, you gotta tell me. We gotta know. We're gonna have to hear about it.
Obviously, I would tell you.
Awesome.
Oh, God.
Roxanne, your pussy must be so sore right now. How are you feeling?
It's done for the night. I think it's good. It's tapping. It's good. It's done.
It's out.
It's for better or worse. It's definitely gotten quite a bit more than it has it for a while.
That's good. Well, I'm glad we could get you some like attention on that.
Yes,
me
too.
Almost 5 times as much, except like again, we just could not seem to get over that hump with Chris to do it. But I'm sure it would have been great there too. We'll see.
It was different. It was mental stimulation. I mean, there were no rules. It said oral, but
right.
Again, there are no rules to it.
That is right. Y'all got around my rules. You found my loophole. So overall experience of the day, of the evening, what do you think?
I'm glad I did it.
Glad you did it.
Very glad I did it.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
It definitely was like empowering, like getting that feeling of like, oh, this is all for me. Like I get to be selfish for like once in my life because I'm better or worse, I'm a people pleaser, so I don't normally get these kinds of moments. And it was actually really kind of relieving to meet guys that were happy to do it and not expecting anything in return right away. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of like in the back of their head, like she's going to go out with me and then it's going to get down. But
sure.
That's the fair thing.
They are auditioning for a role. Like
yes.
they know what they all want the role.
Of course.
But it is nice to not have that pressure, at least on this first go around.
Exactly.
Do you think you could be this selfish on first or second dates in the future?
I think I might try to be.
You might try to be.
I might at least try to put it in there more because obviously the old way wasn't working out that great.
Right.
But, just even the idea of like, yes, it's okay for me to be selfish about wanting to come because everybody else is. So why not?
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. And I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
And I feel like that's going to weed out a lot of dudes because if someone gets kind of pissy about it, well, that's not going to fly. And some dudes might try to pull like an MRA argument. It's like, yeah, but like, what if I tried to just, get you to blow me and walked out? It'd be like, well, this is not payback, but now you know what a woman typically goes through. And also, it doesn't mean the end of the world for you.
Yeah.
It's consolation present. Here's some lotion. You can go into the bathroom if you'd like.
I mean, it's definitely like, again, the thing of where it's like, nobody would bat an eyelash. Like, no guy would think it was strange. Like, hey, we're gonna have women audition to be your lover and give you blowjobs.
Not to mention, we ain't really auditioning. We're just like, we're giving you a different role. We had you come in to read for the part of girlfriend, but we've actually cast you as side bitch.
And that's all they would be.
There's no small parts, only small mouths. So. Okay, well, I'm glad it was an overall good experience. Yeah. Who? Give us some highlights. Give us some. Let's start with the. Do you want to start with the good or start with the bad?
Let's start with the bad because I like to finish on the top.
Let's go. Let's start with some bad. What were some low moments and with whom?
Low moments were definitely like the one where I did not actually come.
Ronnie.
Yeah, he. I mean,
you came with everyone except Ronnie and Chris, but yeah. Chris was more like a.
That mental stimulation, it takes some time.
Yeah, that was like a not applicable because it didn't actually go. That was a
true.
Yeah, he abstained almost.
Almost, yes.
Yeah, in a way. but so Ronnie, okay, didn't come, which is fine because I did tell them, hey, the goal ain't to necessarily make her come. The goal is to have a good impression.
Very true. And I mean, yes, I didn't come. But it was also the reasons I didn't come. The reasons because, like I'm telling you what to do, like what feels good to me, doing it for 2 seconds and then going back to what you were doing before. Well, what was the point of me giving you direction to begin with? Mm-hmm. Like if that wasn't working, don't keep doing it.
What were some other low moments?
When there was one moment with Roddy where he was, I guess, changing up position or something, and his fingers were still inside of me, and he was still latched onto my clit, and so he's moving around and just kind of scraped a little on the inside, and I'm like, oh, please don't do that.
Were there any low moments with anyone besides Ronnie?
I'm trying to think.
Oh my.
Poor Ronnie.
Yeah, poor Ronnie. I'm just like, can we just say something bad about somebody else?
Let's see. David was good. There were definitely some things where it's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying like necessarily like people who were rough, but more like any particular moments within because you could have rough moments within an overall good experience.
I think I mean I had a good time with David. There was one moment where I was just like, kind of like, okay, trying to get things moving. Like I need a little bit more back and forth friction. And I was like, I don't think he's getting it, no matter how many like verbal or physical cues I'm getting. So I was just sitting there going like, oh no. I was like worried. I was like, oh no, this is gonna be one of those things where I'm just gonna have to like tap him out and tell him to go. And it was like all of a sudden he's just like, oh, I think I got it. I'm like, yes, he got it finally.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But overall, there weren't that many low moments, honestly.
What were some favorites? I know there were a lot of good spots, but like what was a couple of high points, moments?
I mean, like with Jim, it was like he actually did something very sweet and like actually like held my hand at one point.
Aww.
I know, girly aw moment. But it was just kind of like that thing where this isn't just about going down and trying to get me off. It was just kind of like, no, this is an intimate moment. This is something like very like, we're doing something together, and it's not about like, let me see how fast I can get her off. It's let me see that she's doing okay, and how like I don't know. It was just kind of like something where I was just like, that was very thoughtful.
Yeah, oh, that's nice.
That was very sweet. And then I would say with Rashad at the end, it was just like having like he really actually cared about like kissing arms, legs, inside of the thighs, down the stomach, like non-sexual potty parts, but that was part of what made it so good. It was not, okay, I'm just going to start diving deep and going in and getting the job done. It was actually like, I'm giving a damn about how she feels and what her reactions are. And that was like, yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay. Who do you think referred to himself as a sex god?
I think number 2.
Ronnie?
Ronnie.
Ding, ding, ding. She's right. She's so correct.
Oh, Ronnie.
Seemed like nice guy, but yeah, he wrote he was the one I read out where he said, no pressure. Which that's the part that got me was the parenthetical, no pressure. But you're dealing with a deity at this moment. Amazing. Well, okay. Any other takeaways from this? Lessons learned.
I think a good lesson to even learn is like to let go of like any feminine guilt of a guy being down on you for more than like 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Like, yeah, no, it's okay for him to give you multiple orgasms. And I mean, I think part of it was also like for the guys who were able to do it, that they seemed happy to do it. So it's not like, I don't feel bad for you guys.
Yeah, everyone here
It's
knew
fun.
what they were getting into.
Yes.
It's a very contrived scenario.
This is true. But it's also,
But a fair way to do that is, to say, hey, I'd like to invite you up, if you're in a real world scenario of like, hey, I'd like to invite you upstairs. I don't necessarily want to, have sex tonight, or I don't want to do any penis stuff tonight. But if you'd like to come upstairs and fool around a little bit, that could be fun.
That's a good idea. I like
For example, at least that way, if he comes upstairs, he knows what he's getting into. And, if he gets mad that like, he didn't get off, it's like, well, that was not part of this particular night's arrangement. True. And that doesn't mean it's a never, it just means tonight. Or
even like talking about it, like, because I love talking about sex, and it's like, again, it's coming up where guys are like, oh, I'd love to go down. It's like, I'll put you to the test. If you really like it, I will make sure that you
do that.
Look to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the next time somebody says specifically that, you call this bluff and you say your pants are staying on. You can skip the mouthwash, and we'll see about that.
And the rubber gloves, maybe?
Up to you.
Maybe.
Yeah. Turns out Chris did not need them.
No. And he's the one who wears them regularly.
He came out and he just put them back down. He's like, well, I guess I didn't need these.
No. Aw.
Yeah. So who would you want to see? Let's go through the list of like who you want to see again. So you'd like to see Chris again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's what we'll do. I'll say who you said you wanted to see again, and I'll tell you if they wanted to see you.
Ooh, okay.
Chris, would you like to see him again?
Yes.
And he would as well.
Aw.
Yes. He was also confident that had y'all been talking for half hour, an hour or something, that eventually things would have happened. But he's like, no, we just talked and it was such a good conversation. We kind of forgot to fool around.
Yeah.
And he was okay with that, which I like. I like that he didn't come out. He was 0% pissed off.
I love that.
He said that if he, fuck it, you'll hear it when this comes out, but he was like, if I came in and I didn't think she was at all interested, I'd probably be a little upset. But he loved that y'all connected on an intellectual level.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah, cool.
Good
what about
attitude.
Rashad? Would you like to see Rashad again?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? He was, he had a great time. He's like, I like this as a one-off. He's like, there's no need to push a sequel. He's like, I kind of want to come in and do my thing, and I want to know if I was good at this.
Yes, and he actually thanked me for that.
Yeah?
Because he did a good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm okay with that. I think I even have a feeling he wasn't as into me, perhaps, which is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about my buddy David?
I think I would see David again.
Yeah. Well, I will be passing your number along because he would as well. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, Ronnie. Ronnie.
Oh, Ronnie. Ronnie, you're nice
I don't know
guy.
if you know this about Ronnie. Ronnie's going through a recent breakup.
Oh, Ronnie. Don't refer to yourself as a sex god, but poor Ronnie. No, I'm good.
That's a no?
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm sure he's good too. He's probably having some fun right now.
and porno Jim. I say that because I want you to say yes or no, knowing that we call him porno Jim.
Yes.
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 Would you say he's your number one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't copy me. I look so much cuter when I do that.
He's a year younger than my father, but yeah. I like how the guy that you'd like to see the most is the guy who's outside the age range you originally gave me. And I'm really happy that you opened up to that possibility.
Fine.
Gloating
over there.
You learn that age is just a number. Fine.
Fine.
You
were right, Billy.
I do that sometimes, that whole being right thing.
Very rarely, but sure.
Any final thoughts?
Don't tell Billy your sexual problems unless you are willing to accept the solution he has for you.
And the solution...
It's really fucking fun.
Always a good time. And if you are seeking more dudes who you just want to have go down on you, of course there's the Pure Hookup app, which you all know I've ranted and raved about. However, I always recommend, and you've heard about this place for years, but Random Acts of Muff Dive, the subreddit that matches mouths with vulvas.
Well, I'm a Reddit illiterate, so...
It ain't too hard. You just go on, your account is just make a name and a password, go to Random Acts, post a thing, and you're in.
Okay.
Or just answer the ad. Just like click on an ad and message the dude and be like, yo, come lick this twat. What's your favorite word for pussy?
Pussy.
Pussy?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I keep it classic.
How do you feel about cunt?
Eat
my cunt.
It depends on if I'm in that like dirty talk kind of mood, which I'm usually in dirty talk mode, but it depends on like the guy.
So you wouldn't casually at a bar be like, hey, you want to come like eat my cunt later? It'd have to be more like, yeah, lick my cunt.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had that conversation before, Billy. I'll have to test it out for you.
Cool. How do we feel about muff?
I like them very
You
much.
do?
I think it's sweet.
Because the biggest criticism I hear about Random Acts of Muff Dive is they're like, oh, what a terrible name.
It's not that terrible at all. I mean, hey, hair is coming back anyway, so.
Amazing. Well, Roxanne, thank you so much for letting me do this. This is fun. And yeah, why don't you say goodbye to the fine people?
Oh, bye, guys. Thank you for listening to this ridiculousness.
Give us a little, to leave us with.
I have not money for you, but you told me no faking it. Faking it's a bad thing, right?
Fair. Oh. That episode might be up there with the Happy Ending Massage episode as like one of the great Manwhore podcasts. I gotta say, I hope you all had as much fun listening to that as I had recording and editing it. And if you got a little bit aroused, good. Then you can go buy or rent Sex.com the movie and beat off in between the jokes. Jesus, the Red Band trailer alone had a ton of titties. I can't imagine what the full film has. If you enjoyed the podcast, let me know what you thought, okay? I'm on Twitter and Instagram at TheBillyPresida. Use the hashtag ManwhorePodcast. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode. I love waking up to your emails. It's one of my favorite things to do in a day is seeing my inbox full of emails from listeners I've never heard of before, okay? Send me your comments, your questions, your booby pictures over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. I am super excited for Manwhore Podcast Live. Come on, you whores. Okay, I want to see y'all at the People's Improv Theater on October 8th at 8 p.m. I highly recommend you buy your tickets online ahead of time to ensure you've got a seat. Go to manwhorepod.com/live to buy your ticket today. Now, I gotta get back to watching the end of this Green Bay Packers game, and next week I'd be much wiser to place my bets on mybookie.ag using the promo code Manwhore at the deposit screen. Go Aaron Rodgers! Go Aaron Rodgers! Man, if I could talk to Aaron Rodgers right now, I would say, don't throw in the double coverage, buddy. Instead, stay slutty.
Oh, yes. Don't stop doing that. Just like that, just like that. Just like that. Don't go any faster, just like that. Just like that.